Previously on Miami by Night. A new night begins, and a new actor enters the play, Maisie. The somber anti-tribute awakens for a night she has no idea will become very different from the routine she has set into over the last few years, and all it takes is a message from her sire by way of her ghoul to begin tipping her off to that fact. Her sire's living visit is on her thoughts from that point until the man himself enters her haven without so much as a knock, and completely ignores her ghoul's presence. Talk ensues. Talk of opportunity. Not long later, her leash, the other mentor, and Miami's harpy arrives. Jules' arrival is a breath of fresh air cutting through the drowning deeps that is her sire's presence. The harpy, of course, knows a little more, or at least shares a little more, about what's coming. An investigation, something outside the skills she's comfortable with, but it's clear she doesn't have much choice in the matter. She rarely does, on the night side of things. Later, elsewhere, Artemis awakens and begins his own night. After a moment gazing upon the visage of Grigory Malkov, the Toreador goes about getting ready, and then emerging to feed upon his night staff. As he goes through his mail and other things, the special phone in his desk begins to ring. Turns out the Harpy is a call-in, and he's calling in that favor that Artemis owes him. He's cashing in, and is tasking Artemis with introducing Maisie to the group, getting her foot in the door, and, of course, watching over her for a bit during the first night or two, guiding her as necessary. Artemis agrees because he has to, but he does have some regret about promising the Harpy a favor now that the time has come to pay up. Meanwhile, in an oddly proportioned cabin, Mercy comes to and quickly takes in the blinking light on his landmine, voicemail, as well as the man slumped in a chair not far from his bed. Gary Miller, Denny's old ghoul. Ursi struggles to remember the name of the latter for a moment. After a brief conversation with the ghoul... Sorry, one moment. Where was I? Right. After a brief conversation with the ghoul and instructing him to avoid the attic, it's time for the voicemail. His boss, the sheriff, is summoning him to a meeting. And she doesn't sound happy. After a quick sip from the poor ghoul, he departs. In a far more luxurious location, Jack awakens. Checking for messages, and upon finding none, conference calls the coterie, sans the unintroduced Maisie. Trying to plan a time and place to meet up, again offering his place as he wants to avoid pissing off Rory. Probably a smart decision, but Darcy counters, saying he's booked the room properly this time, and with Artemis also having a meeting there later, the meeting place is set for Elysium. As the call ends, Jack realizes he is hearing humming, echoing through the empty hallways. Following the sound takes him to Anastasia's room. The nature of the tune is one of those damned hymns Malkov made his pet project sing about him. He finds his adopted child in her room, painting. Her hands and fingers smudged in black and white and groups of messy gray where they meet. Of course, painting aside, Jack's hungry. And so, after a quick check with Anastasia, he has Eve, the maid, order Chinese food. Technically for both of them. She agrees to do so, but not before informing him of finding another hidden cubbyhole. This one probably a punishment spot for bad children. Eventually, his attention is recaptured by the girl, who hands him a painted paper, prompting him to offer to get a proper canvas for her if she wants. After all, Artemis probably has a bunch of them, which excites her, which quickly becomes him offering for her to just write down a list of supplies for him to have purchased for her. But even blood from the delivery driver doesn't detract from the painting shown. A silhouette of a man holding a scepter and a hideous mask, one in each hand, sinks into Jack's eternal memory. While the Chinese food 2 ways is being enjoyed, Hersey is arriving for a meeting with Nora. She sounds pissed about something, which is not a good start to things. Things start off on the topic of Denny's death and largely go downhill from there. The fact that a previously unidentified individual did him in only brings to mind the unsolved murder of the Toreador Primogen in 1997. The meeting's topic turns to tonight's activities, where the sheriff lays out the choices for Hersey. Assault the train yard tonight, as his report indicated he planned to do, or stake out tonight, with assault being delayed for the next known arrival, 3 nights from now. She takes a moment to school Ursi in the drawbacks of both, but makes no secret as to which one she thinks is the wiser course of action, one brought on by the description of the footage and not seeing where the presumed Sabbat members already here arrived from. Finally, there is the topic of Jack's meeting the night prior and his issues and concerns, some valid, some not, regarding Ursi's leadership. A topic that has Ursi doing no small amount of second guessing. At the other half of Elysium, 2 streets over, in the basement of the Velvet Eclipse, 2 of the 4 begin the gathering. Artemis, leaning against the bar, as Maisie wanders in looking very fish out of water. As they go through meeting up, Artemis orders himself and the girl a drink. Only some idle conversation later, during which Artemis is careful not to reveal anything too secretive until they are in the private room, Jack arrives, prompting Artemis to answer Jack's curious inquisition with a proper introduction on Maisie's behalf. The icy man's harsh demeanor settles into the now trio, and Maisie feels no more comfortable. The meeting was briefly interrupted by Rory, who comes to check in on his, quote, second and third least favorite goldfish, before allowing them to check into the room reserved by his least favorite goldfish. Once inside, Jack is quick to find something he can stick a CD in, which he does, and immediately presses play. And awful blues music ensues, courtesy of the Prince of Denver and his band, to the immediate dislike of both Maisie and Artemis. Ursi arrives not long after and also receives a blast of this music. Maisie takes advantage of the distraction that is Ursi's arrival to dash for the music box and to turn it off, but does prompt Ursi to inquire as to who she is in the process, which she answers after Artemis, but then proceeds to chuck the CD across the room where it breaks against the wall. Talk turns to their activities tonight, and Ursi, already on the edge regarding Jack, only becomes more so when Jack disagrees with the plan to do a stakeout tonight. Friction, perhaps between the two of them, is only set to grow, eventually devolving into a brief but open disagreement. Not quite enough to be an argument, but does edge close. Eventually, though, they focus on filling in the new girl, and somewhere along the way turn to the topic of age, cousins, voting for Nixon, and ultimately ending on Jack calling Maisie a fetus as he suddenly realizes he's old enough to be Maisie's or Ursi's father. Well, at least not Artemis's. So at least he's not 3 for 3. Which leaves just ensuring people are topped off. Ursi is especially hungry. Quickly toward the nightclub upstairs, the true Velvet Eclipse as the mortals know it, the group splits up to gather anything they might need. Artemis and Maisie return first, but Jack never left. Nonetheless, they start talking about the upcoming stakeout, what their options will likely be, leaning towards using nearby low-income apartments for a vantage point. Once Cersei returns, they prepare to sit out and regroup closer to the rail yard. They plan to use the fire escape on one of the apartments to get up to higher ground. Ursi has a pair of binoculars, normal sized, but tiny in comparison to himself. Jack has a spotter scope, typically used by a spotter assisting a marksman might use. Artemis pulls out a polished antique brass telescope, normally a desk paperweight. Maisie, looking on, is forced to both declare and ask as to whether or not this is some sort of dick measuring contest between the three. Jack denies, citing a list, but while he's not looking, Artemis will imperceptibly nod yes towards Maisie. After they depart, conversation tries to fill the gaps in the awkward silences. First, Ursi talking to Maisie, trying to fill out the new girl. Then to Artemis, asking the question needed to pop the elephant-shaped balloon in their room. Namely, how Ursi is doing after that little interaction with Jack earlier. Something large from air to vent about what he likely perceives as Jack's backstabbing. I needed venting, as it turns out. Artemis offers to support him in any way he can, before a more light-hearted conversation about the terrible music Jack brought to Elysium ensues, and works reasonably well to take away some of the tension. But now, it's time to arrive. You arrive a reasonable distance away, not far from the low-income apartments. Ugly brick affairs you intend to use as your vantage point. You could make your way up through the building for an apartment balcony, but at this point your minds seem focused on the easier and less chance of interaction required fire escapes attached to the building. But for now, you're all in the parking lot.
Is Ursi tall enough to reach the ladders that hang down from fire escapes?
Absolutely, he's 7.5 feet tall, and once he reaches his arm over his head, yeah, he's probably got that reach.
I don't know why, but that was not what I was expecting. The first thing that they just.
I actually spent like 15 minutes trying to decide what that roll would be and how that might look. Then I was like, wait a minute. And did the math on his height. It was just like, yeah, no, I'm not going to worry about that. That'd be dumb.
I think that's what Ursi's gonna do first. Is he's just gonna walk up to this fire escape ladder and then just pull it down. Or actually, is it? I forget. I have never had a fire escape, so I don't know if they lock. Does it lock? Would it be locked?
No,
Or is it
they
just
Some might, but that would be
I
a
thought they
fire
were.
hazard, I would
Yeah,
think.
I thought they were spring loaded so that when you climb onto it, it lowers down.
Yeah, I mean, like if they were locked and someone couldn't open the lock, but then there was a fire and they were trying to use it to escape, that sounds like a fire hazard to me.
Oh yeah, fire. Okay, yeah, fire escape. You know,
You do
yeah,
have there are like several buildings that could probably offer you a vantage point. The tallest one is probably about 7 or 8 stories, which is
yeah.
kind of tall, but they're very cheap and probably not very big on the inside.
I grew up where that is a very tall building to me. Is like more than three. Honestly, 3-story buildings are still tall to me. But yeah, Ursu will walk up and take down the fire escape or pull down the ladder.
The clang makes you wince a bit, but it's not particularly loud. It only seems loud because you're in the sort of mood to try and stay quiet, probably.
Straightening his beanie hat, Locke will climb up the ladder onto the fire escape.
Shoots. I'll also be going up.
Maisie's gonna follow along.
I will also follow.
How high up the fire escape do you wish to climb? To the top?
Figured we were heading for the roof.
Then to
So
the
I
roof you go.
Yeah, I think to the roof we go. I think Ursi's definitely keeping an ear out to make sure that like there isn't somebody else on the roof before we get like he's trying to listen
Like
to the
no one getting a
surroundings.
midnight smoke break, like the Punisher or
Exactly.
something.
Exactly. And also like if it's an apartment building, and so like even though it's cheap, like hearing if there's people active near the fire escape for areas that he might need to be extra quiet because he's very big, so it's hard.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to be quiet when your footsteps each carry like a 300-pound weight on them or something to that effect.
It is. It is. It takes you have to pretty much take conscious effort with every step. It sucks.
And this is a very echoey metal like fire escape. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure. Make me a perception alertness check. Difficulty 6.
So with aspect is that 5?
You have one die of aspects. Yes, that would be 5.
Coolio. Okay. Perception awareness.
Alertness.
Alertness.
Awareness is for supernatural phenomena,
Yes.
like ghosties, or sensing there's something not right about that man over there, the one watching you from the building across the way.
Wow. No
Wait.
successes.
Oh
Wait,
boy.
no, it's just a pervert.
I would also
No
like to listen. I would also like to listen in. This has nothing to do with
You may.
showing up, Ursi. Nope, definitely nothing to do with that.
Absolutely. It, of course, has everything to do with showing up firstly, but go ahead. You can make a roll as well, though you will be at base 6 since I don't think you have aspects yet.
What the hell?
I assume that I don't get my specialty.
Especially again is
Detail oriented.
no, not for this. Almost, but not quite.
One success.
Jesus.
Wait.
A lot of ones.
Oh,
I believe Artemis said he was also going to attempt.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
For you, it's difficulty 3 because you just got another dot of aspects.
I did indeed. Thank you. 3 successes.
All right. Jack, even with Artemis's 3 successes, there is at least one point somewhere on the ladder where you act before Artemis and presumably get to stop Ursi from making too much noise, but by and large, it's Artemis's show. Who, at least half a dozen times while you're going up, does have to stop Ursi from making another step because he almost made too much noise while someone was near a window or something. And it is also Artemis that picks up on the fact that there is, in fact, someone doing something up on the roof. Probably something that wouldn't look out of place on. Well, those things aren't. Yeah, I'll just shut up on that. But it's probably something that you probably don't want to be seeing. Possibly a
concern.
couple of overweight hippos in breeding season,
Oh boy.
or their equivalents. But
God damn it!
eventually,
I knew Escobar was here.
Maisie is now glad she did not try and be perceptive.
but eventually they go away and the door slings shut and the roof is yours if you wish to claim it.
Being on point, Artemis will swing up over the edge of the roof and climb on up.
Ursi
Actually,
will,
reaching the roof proper will require a bit of a boost from Ursi.
That's fair.
he'll just kind of put one hand down. I don't think he even really. I think he'll like lean down, lean over a little bit to get his hand down a little bit farther so that it's easy to step on. But otherwise, it's basically like he's. I think this is something that while he probably hasn't done it a lot in Vampire Society, he probably did this a decent bit when he was human. And so he's just like, yeah, just come on,
Yes,
just
being the
hurry it up.
tallest person in a grocery store.
Yep, where normally he'd grab it down, but sometimes you got to help people get up. That I could have phrased that better.
Could have, yes.
Oh,
Okay, so standing 1 foot on Ursi's hand, as Ursi lifts up, Artemis will vault gracefully across the edge of the roof onto the rooftop.
Oh, indeed. You're probably the most graceful one of this entire bunch.
Artemis moves like a cat, but not in the sort of super stealthy sense. In the sense of cats think they own the place.
And you look graceful enough to pull it off.
I've never been here before, but also this has always been mine.
You just didn't know it yet.
After helping Artemis up, Ursi was kind of look towards the other two, not saying anything, but basically giving a look of like, "Do you also need help getting up?"
Do I
Because
need
he's
help
just-
getting up?
Yeah, he doesn't say it verbally, but he just kind of gives a look of like he's helped one person up. He's basically seeing if somebody else needs help up as well, or if he's
You could attempt
just
a
going to go
vertical
up.
jump with strength athletics, which would also allow you to use potence.
I think I'm going to do that.
The potential for comedy intensifies.
The potential is there, yes.
Oh,
So in
God,
this case, strength, athletics, difficulty 6, but you do get to add your potence dice. If you know which number under your disciplines the potence is listed under, you can apply it via the dice roller thing in the discipline drop-down box.
Ooh, nice. Time to find out what number it is. It appears to be number 1.
If it's the one at the
I'll
top
have
of your
to fix
discipline
that
list, it
later.
is.
The He is not number one. Damn it, past me. Why do you piss off current me?
Ah, yes, our past selves, always pissing off our future selves and our current selves.
Oh.
Nope!
You jump, and it looks
Could have been worse.
glorious for a moment, except you realize that it's nowhere near tall enough. Your fingers don't even scrab at the edges.
Ursi will look unimpressed, kind of pinch his nose for a moment, and then assume the position again of putting his hand down, just kind of like, just hurry up. Like, he doesn't say that, but he gives that look.
Maisie's gonna climb before Jack gets a chance to.
As the shortest person in the coterie, you will need more than a simple footstool boost.
Yep.
If you step onto his hand, he can. Ursi will just kind of help lift the rest of the way. Do I need to roll for that?
I think Artemis is
No,
leaning over the roof edge.
I was gonna say,
to
if
help.
I need to roll, let me know what I gotta do.
I'm waiting to hear how they're helping you first.
Artemis is leaning his chest over. I'm imagining there's like a wall around the edge of the roof, and he's leaning his chest. on that.
There's definitely a low wall there, mainly to keep things from falling over as much as anything else.
So he's leaning his chest across that with his arms outstretched to help Maisie up.
This is going to get dust on that black outfit, but that's what the dry cleaners are for.
No, that's what throwing this outfit away and buying a new one is for.
Oh, right, money. That's what money's for. But between the help of Artemis and Ursi, you are able to get up to the roof without requiring a roll.
Okay. She'll get up there and she'll thank both of them quietly.
I'm spending a willpower on this. I'm doing it again.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You can also spend a blood to turn your potence into an automatic success instead of an extra die.
You know what? I think I'm gonna do that instead. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. So in this case, yeah, just roll like to turn off the discipline bonus and just add it as an extra success after you roll.
Now, this will be very funny if he gets a negative score.
It will be. He won't botch though because he's got a success.
Yeah, he's
It
got
just
an
gets
success.
canceled.
Ah,
There
fuck
you
you!
You got it even without the potence, but the opponents makes it so you don't even have to grab the roof's edge. You just kind of land on your feet on the edge.
Artemis will look to Maisie. He'll pull the telescope from his pocket again, tap it a couple of times, and wink at her.
She's just gonna roll her eyes and shake her head.
It comes to mind that Artemis makes a reasonably apt mentor, even if he doesn't want to be in this position.
Since everybody else is up there, am I able to just reach up and grab the top of the roof?
You can,
And-
but it's going to be a display of kind of grunting as you kind of pull your entire self up and over.
Is there a roll I can make to I'm fine if I struggle physically to climb up there because he's a very big person and he does not have any potence. But is there something I can roll so that it doesn't seem labored? Like no grunting, essentially.
You could pump some blood into your strength, I guess.
You could,
'Cause
I mean, you could pump some blood into your strength, but you're kind of low on blood, if I remember correctly, even after recent
Yeah, I
training.
am.
And
I'm
so
still
your
low.
alternative to that is to make the one of the weirdest rolls I've ever called for, stamina performance check or stamina subterfuge, your choice.
Okay. Would I be able to add my specialty of tough as nails?
You know what? Sure. I don't think that's what that specialty is intended for, but you know what? This does at least impose your acting as tough as nails, so sure, go for it.
Okay, so you said stamina, subterfuge, or
Stamina
was the other one?
performance.
Stamina subterfuge or stamina performance? Yeah, definitely gonna do subterfuge because I don't have any performance.
Fair enough, but the difficulty to pull this off will be 6, but only 6 because it's opposed. Anyone watching you can attempt a wit's empathy to see through your bullshit.
I mean, perception, empathy.
And
We had this conversation before.
With
Well, I
sympathy.
genuinely don't remember it. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick here. Okay, I'll just shut up. Sorry.
It's wit's empathy.
what does the special? It's 1 die extra with the specialty.
Yes, modifier 1.
Modifier 1. Thank you.
What is the difficulty?
6. It's an opposed roll. You're both rolling against the same difficulty here.
2 successes.
Yeah, Maisie and Jack both see through your shit, but at least you can say you looked good while doing it.
Hey.
The dick measuring contest continues.
Once Ursi is up there, he'll also kind of dust his coat off lightly and then reach into his coat and pull out the normal size binoculars.
Jack will lay down on the roof and set up his spotter's scope. And then he will
With the,
reach into his. Actually, no. Can I say he brought a sniper rifle, or do I need to have rolled something? Would I have needed to have rolled something harder for that?
We have established that's in your motorcycle, but you didn't bring it up here with you.
Okay. I'll just stick with my pistol then, but I doubt I'll need it.
I will note that because of the low wall we've established there being there, you will need to probably crouch rather than laying all the way down, but I get it, you're keeping a low profile. Next to the mountain of a man that's standing with the binoculars.
Is the roof access for the building? Is it the one I'm typically imagining is this kind of a sticky up bit with a door in it?
Yes.
Is there anything on the roof I can wedge against that to stop the door from opening?
Someone's got a beat up rusted folding chair next to the door.
Okay, Artemis will grab that and try and wedge it under the door handle to make sure that can't be opened.
You don't think it'll outright prevent the door from being open, but it'll probably make one hell of a screeching sound if someone tries.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. I should be quick enough to get to it if I hear that noise.
Well, yeah, you're pretty damn fast when you need to be.
Okay. Then Artemis will head to the same edge of the roof as everyone else and pull out his antique telescope and start doing his Horatio Nelson impression.
Ursi isn't going to lay down, but he is going to like go on one knee, which I think puts him at still a little bit taller than Macy, but yeah, but he just to get slightly lower profile. It doesn't do much, to be fair.
Maisie's just kind of standing there and just like, I can't see anything.
No, it doesn't mean that you're entirely useless up here.
This is true.
Would you like to do something to help?
Sure. Give me some common sense though, because I'm drawing a blank.
You do have common sense. Please tell me you took common sense.
I did. I did that on purpose.
Wonderful.
Sense.
That means I get to help you.
Yay!
Please stay tuned and await for your help. Your help will imminently arrive at a moment of the storyteller's choosing, which will be in now. You have Obtenebration 1 Shadow Play, which is like the one not usually masquerade breachy Obtenebration, but used properly, it can give you all a extra stealth die if it's needed.
Then yeah, she'll make us extra stealthy.
All right.
It's
Should
a
we all
little
roll
weird.
stealth then?
You know what? We can go ahead and roll that now, and I'll just use it whenever I feel like using it. So sure.
Oh boy.
Dexterity stealth. Get to add a 1 on the modifier. Possibly another one if you have a relevant specialty.
Do I take a negative to this roll?
I don't believe so. Stealth is. Oh, right. Increase difficulty by 1.
Sorry, my brain died there. What?
If you don't have any points in stealth, the difficulty is increased by 1.
I have a point in stealth.
Sorry, it was my understanding that not having points in stealth meant your die pool was reduced by 1.
As far as I'm aware, if you don't have points in it, it is a skill. The difficulty is increased by 1. If it's a knowledge, you can't attempt it at all. And if it's a talent, then you roll as normal.
So my question, I have a dot in stealth, but it's more so because we're on top of a big building and I'm a very big person. So I was wondering if that affected the roll, like either the difficulty level or dice pool. Just because Ursi has the big, I forget what it's called, the merit, huge size.
Yep,
Next-
but
next-
as long as you're sticking down, I'm not going to quite bring that up. But if you are in any way, like for you, you can probably lay down and peek over the edge of the roof. But everyone else, but if you're basically crutched, yeah, or anything more than that, you're probably going to be at a penalty. Yeah, so we'll put that as a +1 difficulty.
+1 difficulty.
Does-
So
Gonna
What's the
spend a
difficulty
willpower on
and-
this.
What's the difficulty, and does celerity apply to this dex roll?
Celerity by default applies to all dexterity rolls.
Okay, just checking.
Oh,
Dope.
damn! I have celerity too, so I guess that applies to this
Well,
roll as well.
yeah. It's basically it's extra dice. You get extra dice. So yeah.
And what's the difficulty?
The base difficulty for this is going to be 6.
Okay.
I have
Alright, that
no
just
stealth.
7.
That's not helpful.
Your difficulty is increased by 1 to 7 then.
Sweet.
5
Meh.
successes.
You are the knight.
Well, if it's all in any seriousness, it'll be very funny if they look towards y'all and they happen to see. They don't see Jack. They don't see the mountain of the man. They don't see the well-dressed
Sweet
guy in all
Mary,
black.
mother of fuck.
But they end up somehow seeing, well, you.
Well, everyone else,
Um,
at least everyone else is hidden.
I don't think anyone sees me. I don't know. So I got 2 10s,
So
and
you
I
got
spent a
8
willpower.
successes.
So I think
Oh,
that's
so you
9
have 9.
successes.
Holy crap!
Yep. You are at 9, sir. And for some reason, the shadows that Maisie is bending around all of you seem to really favor Jack for some damn reason. Probably because his soul is almost as black as they are.
Jesus.
Unfortunately, they like him so much they forget to cover Maisie.
Yep. It's okay.
Oh my god. Did I do the thing where I'm the Shadow's favorite child now?
Maybe. Hmm.
You stole all of the blankets. The heck, man.
Yeah, it's 4 people in a bed, one of them huge, one of them tiny, and they somehow all managed to steal all the blankets, but it's not the big guy doing it from the tiny one.
Not my fault the blankets like me better.
The blankets are also apparently all mimics. Apparently.
Oh God.
But I fear this is getting a little bit out of hand. Maybe just ever so slightly. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, I could just be out here having a nice little smoke. Nobody knows who I am.
Well, I mean, you do look like you are kind of dressed like you'd be from low income housing. So I mean, there is that. There is the added. Oh, she's probably just up there getting a smoke or some shit. That's probably fine.
Smoking a doobie or something.
I mean, there's worse things to be thought of.
Yeah.
But in any case, the stakeout does begin, and for three of you, the first hour or so is fairly boring. For Jack, this isn't boring. Staring at the same building entrance for a week and not being able to look away is boring. This is easy stuff. You have a rather solid view of much of the yard and its happenings from up here. And after the hour, it doesn't take much longer for things to change. At around 1 a.m., a train begins entering the yard. Not the first one you've seen since you've been here, but this one is passing through Rail Line 3, before being broken down and wheeled about elsewhere. Not, however, before detaching 2 cars from the very back of said train. And activity has indeed begun. I'm going to need 2 separate rolls, but we'll start with the first one, even though they're both basically the same thing. Perception alertness, difficulty 8 base, but -2 for Jack's spotter gear, and -1 for Ursi and Artemis's binoculars and antique brass telescope. So Jack is currently at difficulty 6, and Ursi and Artemis are at base difficulty 6. Oh no, it's base difficulty 7 before their auspex.
The
Okay.
Auspex deducts from that as well, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm difficulty 6 with Auspex. Okay.
Yep. Jack's difficulty 6 by base, Ursi is 6 with auspex, and Artemis
Difficulty
is
4.
difficulty 4 with auspex.
Damn.
Do I get my detail oriented?
You will for this one.
Yay. I'm also going to spend a willpower on this.
I should note for Maisie that while you can roll and have rolled, any details you see with your successes will be somewhat more indistinct compared to those with, aids.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, phew. 7 successes.
Blowing willpower on the least needed things. I love it.
I never know how many successes it's going to be until I roll.
I think it's because you're saying you're spending a willpower, the system is being so generous. And then the moment you stop is when it will turn on you.
You know what? Wouldn't surprise me.
That's how it goes. Everyone knows this. Everyone.
Also, Artemis, you haven't switched to your person yet. You're still the kitty.
Yes, he learned Protean. He learned with 4 dots of Protean recently, and is now a cat that's somehow holding a knife.
He's a cat with opposable thumbs.
There you
Don't question it.
I don't need to question it. I've seen Samitzi. It would not surprise me to have a Samitzi go, you know what?
I'm going to write down
needs
in my
opposable
notes
thumbs.
to add a cat with some sort of child's hand grafted onto it.
Oh shit.
Jesus. Not where I thought the opposable thumb would come from. I thought they'd just take the normal thumb and then just make it opposable.
Nope.
Not Tsumishi enough.
No, not Zunichi.
It's okay. On Friday, there will be a cat with opposable thumbs, and it will not be a child's thumb, because this is not that kind of sim.
Ah. But nonetheless, things have begun, and as movement down below in the not normally active part of the yard at this time of night begins, your eyes do pick up on something. May sort of order your successes for myself. Maisie gets 3 successes, but has no viewing implement. And Artemis gets 4 successes with a viewing implement. Ursi gets 3, also with a viewing implement. And Jack gets, well, the system loves him. Jack gets all sorts of successes with a viewing implement. Maisie, you can sort of see movement coming from various directions around there. You haven't actually been to the rail yard yet, so your eyes are also kind of distracted by everything because you don't know what's normal and what you're actually supposed to be looking for. Not really. But you do detect movement coming from various edges. Meanwhile, let's see who's next on the list. Ursi, you think you see something going on near one of the corners, one of the fenced corners. But the details are a little fuzzy for you, except for the fact that there is people arriving outside it, though you're not seeing what they're exactly doing because there's a bunch of bushes right up against that fence edge. One of them is seeming to stay behind, possibly a lookout, possibly for a fucking smoke break. You don't know. Artemis and Jack, really, because at this point there's just so many successes. You can only get so much, man. I noticed that it is in fact a total of 3 people entering through the fence gap, because there appears to be a gap in the fence. There appear to be raising a opens like some sort of gap in the chain links. Normally entirely covered by the bushes, but visible when they're opening it up that widely.
Can I see any details about the people doing so? Any details that I can later note down?
If you saw their faces again, probably.
You know
Well,
what?
they
I
aren't
will take
exactly.
that as my extra successes.
They aren't always looking your way, but you get enough of a side profile shot that you'd probably be able to recognize them, given even if you're looking at them full on. Unless they have like some really weird things on the other side of their face, like a Zuko scar or the like. But 3 are entering through this gap that looks wide enough to basically be a pair of double doors that was opened up all the way, before closing it behind them, and 1 remains behind, presumably as a lookout of some sort. Now I would like a second roll, same difficulty. It's a little farther away, but it's closer to the main hub of activity, so it's both harder and less hard to see.
I'm going to try to make an argument here, and if it's a bad argument, you can go ahead and shut me down. But is it possible that I cannot make this roll given that I did well enough on the last one?
I will allow you to use, well, I only, considering we also allowed you to get faces of people, I will allow you to use one of your successes from this last roll towards this next roll.
You know
Because
what?
one of them didn't get used.
That is fair. I will do that. One higher difficulty or same difficulty?
The difficulty is the same because while it is farther away, it's closer to the center of the activity.
Okay.
So you're already kind of looking in that direction.
6 successes.
I think it's 5 with your extra success,
Yeah, but I got a 10.
which is canceled by the 1. Both successes.
Okay. 5 successes. Oh, that's still good. It's just
It's
not
still so
better.
good. The dice are waiting to fail you. It's coming. Don't worry, it will come. Okay,
Oh, I
Cersei,
know.
Artemis, Maisie. It's not actually a botch because you got 1 natural success. It's just overwhelmingly canceled.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Maisie. This is my fault. I fucked you.
Yeah, you took all the successes.
first with the shadow blankets, and now with the alertness successes. Oh, Rob, were you not here when I was describing what y'all saw?
No, sorry. The cat just attacked me.
Basically, okay. Well, there was a shoot. There
Sorry.
was basically a gap in one corner of the fence around the back of the rail yard, which is largely covered up by bushes normally, but a group of 4 approached it. 3 opened it up. Looks like it could be opened pretty widely, and entered, while 1 stayed behind near the bushes as a sort of lookout.
Mhm.
And now I'm having you make the same roll again about something entirely different, or mostly different.
What's the difficulty on the new roll?
It's farther away, so it's harder, but it's also like closer to the center of activity, so it's easier. So it's basically the same difficulty.
5 successes.
Excellent. So first, no, I like doing it last. Maisie, we'll get back to you.
Oh,
But
boy.
for Jack with his 5, Artemis with his 5, and Ursi with his 2, you note movement near an old rusted freight car, one of the rail cars on the one of the derelict lines. Ursi, you don't recognize this until a bit later, but Jack and Artemis see it immediately when the doors seemingly slide open from within. And out pops two vampires, who shut the door behind them. It's only at this point that Ursi will look over there as the door opens again. From Ursi's vantage point, it's the first time it's opened. For the other 2, they've seen it open just before now. And as it opens up again, 2 more vampires, along with 2 that you recognize, a total of 4. One of them appears to be the scarred woman.
4 vampires.
One appears to be the scarred woman, Valyria, and the other is the concealed feminine figure, who you vaguely recognize from the security tapes as having arrived on the trains a couple of nights ago. And they emerge from the freight car and again shut the door behind them. To the 2 that saw it the first time it opened, that is to say, Jack and Artemis, none of those 4, there was no one else in that train car when you saw that door open. But those 4, I guess, appeared in it after the door closed and also climbed out.
So it's a correspondence effect.
If there were mages involved, maybe. But the train car itself is rusted and doesn't look like it's been moved in years.
As far as I'm aware, it could be a. Actually, I don't know if Jack knows this, but I think I actually. Would Jack know that this could possibly be a tenebration?
Would know if this would be what?
Tenebration?
No. As we've discussed recently, all obtenebration, aside from maybe the first thought, is very masquerade breaching and very obvious. Unless there's some perhaps hidden elder power or abyss mysticism involved. And if those things were involved, you'd be fucked.
Touche.
But I think you actually meant obfuscate, which is where it's kind of the
I did
pseudo
not.
invisibility. Oh, you did not? Okay, never mind then.
As far as I'm aware, there's an obtenebration power where you can shadow teleport people. But I wasn't sure if that was an elder power or not.
So are we saying that this train car that they climbed out of is rusted and immovable? It's not moved anywhere.
Yes, correct.
I believe we should probably check that one out at our earliest opportunity. Maybe a hidden door or some kind of some kind of passageway underneath it.
Before you
Probably.
continue down that line, I would like to remind y'all that Ursi did not see it the first time. He only saw it just now. And before we let that continue,
We don't know that.
Maisie. Yeah, I know. I just wanted to bring that up so y'all could all roleplay that. But first, Maisie. There's this really fascinating looking pebble here. And underneath it you find, it's probably a bit of plastic jewelry that you find in one of those little dispensers for kids. You know, the kind that next to all the grocery stores, next to the Walmarts and the whatevers.
Yep.
A little plastic cheap something that just got tossed here. Or it's like, you know, what's left of a ring pop after the pop has been gone. Neat. Anyway, resume our peak.
I think we need to check that train car. There may be some kind of passageway underneath.
Could this
Probably.
could be related to the illusion things we know we're applying to the cars. The ones coming in with the Fox guy.
Possibly, but why would the door open? Two vampires emerge, the door closes, reopens, and two more emerge. Why not
4
all
more
come
total,
out?
actually, in the second group.
Why not all emerge together in the first instance?
Probably means there's limited space in the passageway.
That would make sense. But still, good to note it as something to check into.
Mm-hmm. We have a rule on detective work. Always investigate and make sure that you try not to fit the evidence to your pet theory. I've seen way too many detectives try to bend and break the evidence just to make it so that whatever they thought was true ended up appearing true. Wasted a lot of goddamn time.
So you're saying we shouldn't investigate the train car?
That's not what I said at all, actually.
Then I'm confused. Why would investigating the train car play into some pet theory?
What I'm saying is, we currently believe that there might be some kind of secret entrance. But that's just our pet theory. When we investigate the train car, we need to keep an open mind.
But if we find a hidden passageway, you know what?
If we
Let's
find a
not
hidden
discuss this.
passageway, the evidence will support the theory.
Artemis will remain silent.
Macy's just
Ursi's
dumbfounded.
Ursi's gonna. I think he's just focusing on the vampires there because he did not know about the first group, and now he's heard about the first group that he didn't see, and so now he's looking to get that full scope in his own vision.
Also, he doesn't want to admit that he didn't see the first group. Not right now.
Yeah, that too. That's a part of it.
Yeah, that'd be super bad for the dick measuring contest.
Hence why he doesn't bring that part up.
But as the various faces and little figures down below begin gathering, I want y'all to go ahead and make me what would be a good roll for this? Could be boring and make another perception alertness check. It can be a perception alertness check, difficulty 8, or it can be an intelligence and investigation check, difficulty 6.
Ooh, I'm gonna do the intelligence one. Would I be able to add my specialty of creatives to this?
No.
Understandable.
Ooh, only one success.
And the intelligence investigation was difficulty 6.
Yes.
Do I roll 6 dice at difficulty 6? Or do I roll 8 dice at difficulty 8? Decisions.
Hey, you're very likely to get at least one success either way.
Except the system's been waiting on a chance to backstab him.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Intelligence investigation, what was difficulty?
For that one, 6.
Okay, cool.
I will allow those 3 successes to count as 1 success because, you don't have a viewing implement.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I was planning on bringing my sniper rifle, but then I planned it too late.
It's fine. Maisie didn't have like any idea what was going on tonight. She was just like, "Here, go there, and do this."
You got booted.
Yeah. She's like,
You got booted into things.
"Yep," with no knowledge of what she was walking into.
And now you're stuck with 3 men measuring their dicks. And only
Yeah.
one of them is aware of it.
In case you're wondering why I'm not rolling, it's because I'm currently away from my computer and was not expecting to do another roll this quickly.
It's fine. It's just a time for your brain to tempt you until you make a decision. Then when you make a decision and it goes badly, you're gonna be like, I should have rolled the other way. But little do you know, the system would have backstabbed you that way too.
Hmm. Damn it. Now you've done that to me, you bastard. It wasn't like that before, but now it is.
I know, that was on purpose.
You monster. I was getting pot stickers out of my toaster. I was going to enjoy my pot stickers, and now I have anxiety. Damn you. Also, does anyone know why the fuck they call them pot stickers?
Because they stick to the bottom of the pan or the thing. They
Yeah,
stick
but
to the
wouldn't
bottom
they
of the
be
pot.
pan stickers?
Well, I mean, sometimes, if they're made in a pot, then they stick to the bottom of the pot.
Pot stickers are called pot stickers because they are pan-fried in a wok or pot and often stick to the bottom during cooking. The name is a
That sounds
direct...
like you Googled it.
It did. The name is a direct translation of Chinese term, do not ask me, because I can't speak Mandarin, which means pot stick in Mandarin. There.
There you go. Many thanks.
Someone play the Jeopardy theme.
I'm rolling. Intelligence, investigation, difficulty 6. No modifiers. 5 successes.
You are not backstabbed today. Or at
4
least not yet.
successes.
Not yet.
Nope, 5. Because the 1 cancels out the 10, but not the other 10.
Indeed.
Apparently not. You know what? It doesn't matter.
Okay, so Artemis, RC Maisie, you all, something's niggling at the back of your mind. Something's off. Jack can tell what's off right away. You've been watching everyone entering this yard, but the number of people there gathered around the 2 tanker cars that you know aren't really tanker cars, there's too many. Too many for what you've counted entering the yard. The only obvious answer is that there is at least another entrance.
Too many folks. We're missing an entrance.
If I'm remembering correctly, last time I tried to get a map of the area, would I be able to remember from looking at the map where they an entrance that we wouldn't have a line of sight from here on?
Well, all the proper entrances are under the camera feed, but you didn't see anyone on those cameras that arrived at the rail car. That's why you are doing this stakeout. One of the reasons why you're doing the stakeout. So any entrances they're using are not actually official entrances, such as
Sure.
this gap in the fence and whatever the hell is up with that rail yard, with that freight car.
Understandable. Okay. Good to know.
Could they be using the sewers?
Could be. That might be why our Nosferatu friend is dead.
Maisie would not know this.
Do I remember what the note said?
One moment. Yes, the note. Actually, wait, did I put that down in clues? I think I put that down in clues. Train's not the only influx. I think he might be involved. The he was revealed to be written over underlines that weren't really underlines, that seem to have 3 letters, MGJ, which Jack realizes is actually M/GJ.
I think that our friend discovered that Gutter Jack might be getting M, whoever the hell M is, or Gutter Jack, is getting Sabat through the sewers.
Why is it always the goddamn sewers?
Quiet.
That's
Out of the
why.
way. Undesirable. Yeah.
Undesirable is an understatement. I cannot be traipsing around in detritus under the city again.
Well, as it has in luck, I've got several of those crime scene suits that they're starting to wear these days. In my apartment. Not my apartment. I'm sorry, I'm not used to having a mansion. They're in my mansion.
You're gonna have something that's gonna fit Ursi? Because that seems
Not Ursi,
improbable.
for Artemis.
Yeah.
Normal sized folks.
Hmm. Maisie's gonna go back at looking out over the roof.
Apparently there's this newfangled thing called DNA. I want to keep the crime scenes looking clean.
DNA
Yeah,
is not no newfound fangle thing. It's been around since the dawn of time.
Well, yes, but we've only just found out how to start using it in crimes and shit. Out of character, that is true, because the O.J. Simpson trial was largely decided by DNA evidence,
Mm-hmm.
because none of them knew how to handle DNA, because it was fairly new at the time.
Also, because the prosecutor didn't realize the basic obvious fact that leather shrinks in the sun.
There was also theories that he didn't take his arthritis meds to cause his hand to swell.
Oddly enough, the first conviction using DNA evidence was in 1987 in Florida.
Damn.
It's only a few years before Artemis. I mean, not only a couple of years before Jack got turned, and not in the state Jack was working in.
Understandable. I've heard about it. Don't know too much on the subject, but I've definitely heard about it. It's certainly interesting. It's worth looking into for sure. I wonder how that applies to Ursi's getting, for like a half a moment, gets lost in intellectual, like,
The hobbyist scientist in him is starting to ponder things.
Yeah,
yes,
it's really
he was like, how does that
fascinating.
apply?
Well, the way it works, you see, is you can take hairs at a scene and investigate them and find out who that hair belongs to. So if someone leaves hair, skin cells, blood, you can find out all kinds of things about who left that kind of thing at the scene. Makes solving crimes way easier. We don't have to rely on unreliable things like witness testimony.
There's an understatement there for witness testimony given the vampire stuff.
Tell me about it. You know the reason I became a vampire? I was investigating a crime, and I found the witness getting dominated.
Good to know.
Down in Mexico.
Love. Choose.
Are you trying to talk to us, Anna, or is that just weird boop
Type.
noises?
This is my typing.
That's the weirdest sounding typewriter I've ever heard.
Well, I adjusted the sound on my mic recently, so that's probably why it sounds weird. I tried toning down my clickety-clacketing.
Ah, the clickety clackety soothes the soul.
Wait, the player is an honest-to-God typewriter?
No, I just that some of the tongues I was still thinking about Jack's typewriter.
Oh, okay. He hasn't learned how to use a computer keyboard yet. He's still figuring that out.
Well, I mean, it's better than being a liberal arts major, probably.
Yeah. Her minor was in music, so yeah. Close.
Trying to think what Jack's major was.
Artemis was politics. Easy.
Ursi was criminology with a minor in electrical engineering.
I think Jack
Well,
was
Jack's
criminology
was
with a
some
minor in
asshole that
philosophy.
kept sending him out to die time and time again in Vietnam.
No, he got a college degree. He used the GI Bill to get the college degree after he came
No, I
back.
meant like major, like, you know, you're a commanding major.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fuck that guy. I definitely did not frag him. Nope. Definitely did not frag him. Can't prove that.
They may not be able to prove it, but more than one guy gave you some smokes afterwards for free. But in any case, as you are pervading the scene, you are taking in the fact that there is at least one more entrance somewhere. Otherwise, how are they getting in from somewhere? Otherwise, without being on the cameras. And, well, three of you are staring through your various glassware dicks. Maisie, make me a wits alertness roll. Difficulty 6. If you fail, the others can attempt at a higher difficulty, but your attention is not quite so focused on the faraway things, considering earlier you were looking at little bits of plastic.
What was it?
Wits alertness.
Alright. And then difficulty base 6 still?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. And roll. Did it roll? There it went.
2 successes. Oh, right, I was actually supposed to make that difficulty 8. Oh, well, I said difficulty 6, I'll stand by it. And even if it was 8, you still got a success. So,
There.
something's a little off to you. Not from the train yard, but that they are so focused on, but back down from the whence you came.
Oh. She's gonna peek over the edge.
Peek over the edge you do, and you've noticed 2 things. One, down the alley, far below, but where you first climbed up the fire escape, there's what looks like a kid scrounging around the trash. It's hard to tell from this distance, but you're pretty sure they're filthy. with a raggedy backpack on their back. 2, we see something else as well. Let me scroll down. Some other figure entering the alley, frantically patting their hands down, seeming like they're looking around, perhaps frantically, perhaps or ferally. Somewhat hungry, perhaps. You can't tell, not from this distance, not for proof, but something's not quite right about them. But they are still quickly to notice the kid.
Maisie's gonna head down to the alley.
Well, heading down to the alley will prompt the others to possibly notice you. How focused is everyone on the rail yard?
I'm keeping an eye on things away from the rail yard in case someone tries to sneak up on us,
Fair enough.
or trying to.
Maisie, are you being sneaky as you're trying to climb back down to the fire escape?
From the group or from the alley? She's not being sneaky at all.
Well, you're not being sneaky at all. In that case, I won't require anyone to roll. But I'll see Maisie tilting her head first over the edge of the area near the fire escape, and then starting to climb her way back down.
Ursi will. How do I do this without being loud?
Roll stealth check.
He's gonna try and whisper at her, I guess.
You can whisper at her. It'll be a slightly louder whisper, but it'll be a whisper.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then he's just be like, "Where are you going? Where where are you going? What is going on?"
Something about the way you're trying to do that is hilarious.
Does Ursi suddenly have an accent we've never noticed before?
I think Ursi,
Apparently.
in the surprise of hearing that, very briefly slipped into his Russian accent.
Where
I
you going?
fucked up the Russian accent, but
Sounded
Maisie,
more call center than Indian than Russian.
Maisie will, as she's like halfway over the edge, look back and be like, I see something. I'll be right back. And she's just gonna dip down.
As you are dipping down, how fast are you going to try and descend?
Pretty quickly.
And are the others going to try and follow suit or peek at what's caught your interest?
Nope.
I think Ursi's gonna look at Jack and Artemis and just kind of briefly whisper over it and just kind of be like, "Keep a watch on the rail yard. I'm gonna take a quick peek, see what's going on over there." And he's gonna
Sorry, go on.
and he's gonna go take a peek over the edge to see what she was looking at or
In
responding
which
to.
several things will happen in quick succession. First, how fast did you say you were moving, Maisie?
As fast as she can go.
Alrighty, well in that case you're not attempting to be stealthy, but you're attempting to be fast.
Mm-hmm.
So make me your choice of a dexterity athletics or strength athletics. Dexterity athletics, you're sprinting down the stairs of the fire escape. Strength athletics, you are jumping over one edge of the fire escape and jumping down to the next level and rinsing and repeating. However, the strength one will be harder, but faster.
I'm better at dex, so
Dexterity athletics difficulty 6, strength athletics difficulty 8, but you make double the time. You can also add your potence dice to that.
okay. To the strength
But you
one.
think you only have one. Yeah, if you make the strength one, yes.
I'm going to stick with dex.
That's good, because a failure or a botch with the other one would have been much worse.
Yep. All right. Rolling.
3 successes. 1 plus 3. You are halfway down the fire escape. You are 4 stories down. You have been bolting it. But while you've been doing that, and while Ursi's peeking over the edge, the man is much closer to the kid, and the kid has realized they're there and is trying to run, but doesn't really have anywhere to run. He's kind of allowed himself to be cornered between a dumpster and a couple of trash cans. Every time he tries to move to the side, the man almost tauntingly cuts him off. They seem to be enjoying this. Ursi, you are peeking over the edge. You're seeing this. You get the feeling something is about to happen, and if that something happens or starts to happen, there's going to be problems.
And just to, sorry, could you? I know I'm seeing this stranger, and then there's runaway person. Could you say that one more time? My brain had a hard time comprehending words for a moment there.
Okay, where did you stop comprehending the words?
You described Maisie going down, and then deletion happened.
The man has gotten closer to the kid. The kid is now aware of the man's presence and is trying to escape. He's currently caught between a trash can and a dumpster, and every time he tries to move in a different direction, the man, too fast to be human, just gets in his way. Touch too fast.
Fuck.
He's playing with him, taunting him, and he is definitely on the hunt. But certain things haven't happened just yet, so certain things don't need to be rolled just yet.
Yeah. Ursi, I think Ursi to himself just does like a quiet fuck, which probably Artemis can hear because Auspex. Is um, and he's just like shit. And then I think he will whisper back towards Artemis and Jack. Unknown uh unknown kindred in the alley beneath us hunting a kid, and then he's gonna start climbing down.
As you whisper and as you start climbing down, first I'm going to need Maisie to make me another roll to attempt to descend further, while I make a private roll to myself.
Mm.
Jack is going to mutter, "Damn it, those two are going to give away our position."
Maisie descends until the last fire escape level. The one they initially jumped onto thanks to Ursi with being able to pull down the ladder. But in the time it takes for her to do that, the man will dart forward and sink his fangs into the kid's exposed arm. And now I'm sure Maisie has something she's going to do to attempt to fuck up this guy and stop this.
Yeah.
But Ursi,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need a self-control check because your flaw
Yep.
is activating.
Yo.
Yep.
Prey exclusion children. I didn't even give you a difficulty yet, sir.
Oh yeah, that's my bad. I saw self-control 5. It's like, yeah, that rolls 5 dice. No, that's the wrong thing.
No.
So what is the difficulty here? Because that roll is no.
I'm going to be very nice and let you re-roll that, but it is difficulty 7. Don't roll before I give you the difficulty again.
I will not. Thank you. Oh dear. Okay, self-control difficulty
Remember,
7.
resisting frenzy is basically an extended action until you accrue 5 or more successes, or you fail 1 or more rolls. Well, just 1 roll.
2
You have 2 of the
successes.
needed successes. You continue making your way down the ladder, but the beast is at your heels.
Yeah, Ursi is moving a lot faster now.
I'm sure he is. Goodness, I need to make another hit and roll. As Ursi begins to move a lot faster, it is his movement, not whatever Maisie is about to do, that causes him to pause in his feeding and look up. The giant of a man slamming down to a new level of the fire escape, the echoey metal. He doesn't even see Maisie at first. He's too busy looking way up at the source of the noise where he sees Ursi, but he will notice Maisie in just a moment. But Maisie has that moment to act.
Mm-hmm.
What would Maisie like to attempt to do?
She's gonna slam into him, and she's gonna use potence when she does it, if she
You're
can.
jumping from the fire escape to attempt to slam into him.
Yep.
Am I understanding that right?
From the top row.
Okay. Okay. Well, this is going to be a 2-part roll. The first is going to be that dexterity athletics.
Okey-doke. Back to my dice. Dexterity, athletic, still 6.
Well, you're trying to be cool about it, but yeah, we're gonna make it difficulty 7.
Oh Jesus!
You still manage to cross the gap accurately enough, but now you need to roll the actual attack roll where you smack into him.
Yep.
And like in most things, aside from a direct, are you attempting to do a direct grapple, or are you attempting just to smack him?
I'm just trying to get him off the kid.
Does seem like more of a tackle slash grapple. So I will allow you to use your strength for this if you desire. Otherwise,
Yep.
you're attacking with a smack.
Yep.
So strength, but you get potence. Strength and brawl and potence.
Strength. Brawl.
You may spend a blood point to activate your potence dice as automatic successes instead of additional dice.
Yep. So that would be how many additional modifiers?
That's not a modifier. We add that after the roll.
Okay.
Modifier is extra dice.
Still new on her.
Mhm.
So strength, brawl,
Yep.
6. Or no?
Yes.
Okay.
+1 from your potence, presumably.
Yep.
You land a solid hit with 2 extra successes. Which in this case, I don't believe you're attempting to directly harm him so much as focused on pushing him away from the kid, correct?
Yep. Harm can come next.
You shove him way off the kid and ram him headfirst into the frickin' dumpster that he's right next to. Technically, you also land against the dumpster, but your fall slash jump is broken by him.
So
He
she's
is
like,
dazed for a moment, and the kid is starting to come to, but you know that the effects of the kiss, aka the bite, are enough that you have perhaps a moment to try and stop him from running. If he runs, and he probably will run, but right now, you have this guy in your grasp.
Yep.
Ursi, you are still probably 6 floors up. How you doing, buddy? Also, make me another frenzy check. Make me another self-control check, because the action is extended until you succeed.
Still difficulty 7.
Still difficulty 7. Well, you don't frenzy yet, and you're 1 success closer to succeeding. What are you doing this turn?
6 floors up. That would be a considerable. I don't know how fall damage works in V20.
Every 10 feet of falling adds 1 die to a damage pool of lethal fall damage, up to a
Ooh.
maximum of 10d10, which I then roll, and you can attempt to soak as normal.
And how does soak work in this again? Because I've never actually had
Stamina
soak
plus
damage.
fortitude. For lethal and below, it's stamina plus fortitude.
Stamina plus fortitude.
So you wish to just jump and drop.
No. I think. What? I don't know how that applies. I don't. Dies of. Sorry, I'm not used to the health system of V20, so I don't know how.
every
much.
damage success that gets through unsoaked, it takes you down 1 health level.
Okay. And damage dice.
Are not guaranteed damage. They just get to roll, and anytime they roll a 6 or higher, it's a point of damage, which you can then
Oh,
attempt to
okay.
soak.
So 10 damage dice is 10 chances to take damage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
right
it's
now,
gonna be
you'd only
so
take
loud.
6.
It's
But
gonna be so loud.
It's 50-50 though. So wherever dice he rolls, just assume you're going to get half that number of damage points.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
But
then you get to
Bagel's no
soak.
longer
I
thinking about the damage he's going to take. He's thinking about the noise it would create to do a superhero landing on the concrete.
yeah, because he's very big, so that would be very loud. At least, especially from 6 floors up. I think. Tell me if this is crazy.
Mhm.
I think Ursi. You cool if I roll like a personal self control check? Just like of
Sure, man.
how
However you want to do this to decide how you're doing a character action. Go for it.
okay.
That
Okay.
one does.
Yeah.
It doesn't count for your frenzy check, though. I just
Of
want to go
course.
ahead and
Of
say that.
course. Of course.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah. He's not gonna jump from 6 floors up. But I think he is going to uh try and get down faster. I think he's going to um
You going
climb.
to do what I offer? Or are you going to do what I offered to Maisie, and that is to say, basically vault over one side, grab the next side, grab the next side, try and jump your way down with strength athletics, difficulty 8. Fail, you will fall.
Mm, mm, Let me double check what my athletics is.
From the height that he's at, what's the number of damage dice if he fails?
From the first roll, 6. From the second roll, 5, and so on. Well, technically, he goes down by a level for each success he gets. So, yeah.
So assume
Mhm.
if you fail the first roll, assume 3 health levels of damage that you can soak, and also
Okay.
heal with blood. I know
It's
you
real. If consider, I mean, lethal damage to anyone that isn't a vampire werewolf is scary. For vampires and werewolves, nah.
Okay. Then yeah, I think
Worst case scenario, you have to spend blood to fix yourself up.
yeah.
And there's a handy kid in the alleyway to feed from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely
No.
not.
No. I think
Don't feed from
When
children. There's barely anything there. Come
when
on,
you
man.
when your friends
Ursi
it's like
is
an amuse
going
bouche.
Ursi is going to jump. He's gonna jump. I think he's gonna jump. I think he's gonna jump, and she just shoved him in like against the trash, the like
Against the
large
dumpster.
trash, yeah, against the dumpster. But she's not on top of him, right?
Kinda, she is, because she started a grapple.
Okay, then
So if you wanted to
I
land on him, you'd be landing on her. So I can't let you
yeah,
try
I
and
think
aim
I
for that.
want to land. I want to land opposite of.
There's only one check I want to make you roll here. I'm not really going to let you pick out your landing spot unless you blow this check away. And that check is
Okay.
to land on your fucking feet.
Yes, that is very fair. Yeah, he's
Strength
gonna.
athletics difficulty 7, and then we will start talking damage. No matter how many successes you get, we will still be rolling the normal damage dice.
Okay.
This is only to land on your feet.
I will be spending a willpower. Oh, actually, temporary. How does willpower come back again? The temp power.
1 each night, as well as your filling your nature and demeanor. Which these days I've been going through it when I've been going through the recording. I only really
Shoot.
got it last session.
Then I am going to spend a willpower so that I have an auto success for this. And you said strength athletics.
Yep.
Big size does not apply to this.
No.
I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay. Strength. Athletics, which is somewhere over here. Where did it go? Oh, it's right there. It's at the top. And you said difficulty 7?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3 successes total.
You land on your feet and have some basic control over where you land.
Yeah. Then with the basic control, I'd like to land near him, opposite of Maisie.
You land vaguely next to the dumpster. But it is a loud boom as you land. Louder to your own ears because you're right there. And possibly filled with pain. We will find out. Because the guy rolls
Yeah.
his
Jack pinches
damage
the bridge of
dice.
his nose and mutters how fucked we are.
You'll be taking 4 damage totals here. So
Holy
let's see you
shit.
soak.
4 damage totals. Okay.
Yeah, for health levels. I'm being weird. But you do get a chance to soak first. So your stamina
all
plus
right.
your fortitude.
And you are
Difficulty
very
six.
lucky that 10s do not count as 2 for damage.
Yeah.
rolls.
Yeah.
And for the
And
same reason, ones don't cancel on damage
Yeah.
rolls. So
yeah. Does tough as nails apply to this?
absolutely.
Yay.
I
Okay,
might not
so
normally apply it to soak rolls, but in this instance, yes.
When wouldn't it?
And maybe if it's like a mental damage, I don't know if that's a thing that can happen in this game, but oh no, that would probably go to willpower. Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, stamina, fortitude, and then tough as nails adds 1, so that's a modifier of 2, and the difficulty is
6.
6. Okay,
Aside from certain things involving fire and sunlight, the difficulty for soaking damage is almost always 6.
good to know. And then I'm just gonna write soak in the name of that dice pool so I can remember that going forward. Okay, stamina with 2 modifiers because fortitude and thing, difficulty 6.
You soak all of it. Congratulations.
Food.
It's a little sore, but you know what? You're surprised about how much not pain you feel. And now I get to make a hidden roll, but not from the guy in the alley.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. As he lands and as that boom goes off, Jack, remember that lookout near the fence, the hole in the fence?
Yeah.
He briefly looks over in the direction of the apartments, more specifically the alleyway between them, but he kind of squints for a moment, then shakes his head and goes back to just watching the area near him. I'm adding a slice to a mental clock, a term Rob is at least familiar with, towards those in the train yard being alerted. I'm not going to tell you how many slices the clock has, but there is currently 1 filled in.
No.
If it fills up, they are alerted and things happen.
Good to know.
I might even
Good to
import
know.
those clocks I bought for Blades in the Dark.
Clocks are awesome, dude. I use them in every single game ever now. They're amazing.
They are amazing storytelling devices, yes. I also have a clock currently running for Rory and him getting angry at the coterie.
I've been nothing but nice to that man.
Guilt by association, and Rory is something of an asshole when it comes to holding things over people. You can blame Anna here for that. It's partly her fault.
I helped make him.
Hmm.
But it's all okay now, because now she gets put under that magnifying glass too.
Yep. I'm okay with that.
In any case,
Nice.
Ursi, you land. Maisie, you've tackled him. The kid is currently still dazed. Man will attempt to struggle.
Okay.
I realize I could do proper combat with this, but I'm choosing not to, just because this is kind of more of a cinematic thing than I'm keeping actual combat in. I think it stays tenser this way,
Hmm.
at least for this moment, considering what's on the line.
Mhm.
Man will attempt to throw you off, though he is currently caught off guard by the fact that you're still on top of him like that. He fails.
Oh boy.
He's somewhat dazed, considering you smashed his head first into the dumpster, while you jumped off a balcony to get at him, throwing the force of your own body and the force of your leap and everything else. So he's not doing too hot right now.
Good.
Ursi, what would Ursi like to do after he slams down next to Maisie? Maisie, how do you feel about the giant of a man just slamming down next to you?
She wouldn't care. She's too focused on the guy underneath her.
I think Ursi's gonna go for the guy. Oh, do I need to make another frenzy check?
You do. Until you achieve a total of 5 successes and you're still missing 2.
Okay.
Or until you fail 1 roll.
Oh shit.
Self-control 7. It's still the same, right?
I'm just gonna bet you wasted your good roll. I'm betting on that.
Oh, please don't.
Yeah. Things are gonna get extremely messy if he fails here. Okay.
You got the successes you need. Your beast is no longer in control of you, and with the hammer of iron will, you batter it down until you can tear this guy to shreds or stake him or something under your own control, rather than doing it because it's controlling you.
Yeah. If it weren't for the self-control things, I think it was gonna be very flashy. And now I think it's
If you
not gonna be
failed, you were going to
flashy.
jump from the very top of the building to get this guy. Just
Fair.
saying. I had this
Fair.
thing written out in 3 or 4 different directions. Let's see where it goes.
Nice. Ursi is going to attempt to grab this guy. And yeah, I think he wants to grapple him.
He is currently grappled already, but yes, you can try and do so as well.
Yeah, I think he's specifically going for the neck, like trying to get
I
his
feel the
hand
need.
around.
I feel the need to common sense alert you to other possibilities, like trying to stake him while Maisie has him.
Oh yeah, that's valid. That's extremely valid. And because he succeeded in his self-control, thank you for the common sense. That's what he's going to do instead. Is he's going to grab a stake from his coat and just attempt to pop it in there.
Can I common sense him, please?
Sure, go ahead.
Common sense. There's a child that's going to come to you in a few seconds and see you shove a stake into a man's chest.
True.
Which then Maisie can deal with the said child.
Maybe you don't have that ability yet. Certainly.
No, but she can still try.
Besides, the kid already saw a man with fangs corner him in an alley and bite down on him, presumably. Although he is somewhat dazed during that fact, so we will see. So I don't have a clock ticking on that.
In that case, I think Ursi is just going to I think instead of going for the stake, he's gonna go for the grapple and essentially, like as he going for the grapple, he's gonna kind of, despite how loud he's just been, kind of whisper to Maisie, handle the kid as he goes for the guy because he wants to grab the guy and he wants to essentially he wants to take over the grapple and turn away from the kid so that the kid is not in his line of sight. Doesn't want to look at the kid right now.
All right then. First, make the grapple attempt. Strength and brawl.
Strength and brawl. Okay. And I'm assuming grappling applies.
Yes.
Their specialty. Yes. Okay.
Yes. I mean, that's basically what you're doing. Why wouldn't it apply?
Fair. Strength. Brawl. Modifier 1. And what's the difficulty?
6, like most combat rolls that don't have a difficulty modifier to them.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
so
in
that's
control of the
7
grapple.
successes.
You're in control of the grapple, all right? Goodness. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop on y'all to fuck up, but so far the dice are somehow, I don't know, in your favor.
They're being kind right now, which means when it gets to a truly vital point, it will screw us over.
Probably.
Kind of was banking on that being the frenzy check, considering, everything.
Oh, yeah. If I had frenzied right there, I think Ursi probably wouldn't have gone for a grapple at all. I think he would have gone not for a bite, but something worse.
What's worse than a bite?
I have thaumaturgy 4. It's much worse than a
Oh.
bite.
Thaumaturgy 4 is just draining their blood without biting them.
Mhm.
You might be thinking of Thaumaturgy 5, where you boil their blood. But you wouldn't be able to do that in a frenzy, not without spending willpower.
Mhm.
I refreshed my mind on the frenzy rules before tonight.
Mm.
In any case, you have taken control of the grapple, Maisie. The big man has the guy. The kid is still dazed, but probably going to come to soon, and either way, Ursi doesn't want him anywhere nearby. Take care of that.
Yep. Maisie's going to let go of the guy and kind of go and scoop the kid up and get him out of the range of sight.
Around the corner, indeed. Of course, around the corner puts you in the parking lot, and while it's late, it doesn't mean that no one's going to be coming in around. You want to stay here or move to another alley?
She'll move to another alley.
Wonderful. Ursi, you have him grabbed, but how are you going to do anything now? Your hands are tied up.
I think he has him grabbed. I think he has him grabbed like
All it would take would be for him to call out for help.
Rip out his throat.
I think he wants to. Yeah, I think with his hand around his throat, I think he wants to clamp down on that so that he can't make noise.
I will apply a penalty to your ongoing grapple.
Good to know. And then if that's just the penalty to the grapple, then if his proper action, I think, would be. I think he wants. Yeah, I think with the crushing to stop the noise in his thing, I think he kind of just wants to. Because he's a vampire. So he won't die from his neck being snapped. Right?
Not necessarily, no.
Then
That's
I
a
think
hardship,
Ursi
isn't it?
wants to dispatch him quietly and put him into torpor.
All right,
Because
then.
yeah, I
Strength
think he
plus
wants to.
brawl, but this will be at difficulty I'm going to make it only 7, but we're going to make it 7 because otherwise, one of your hands is tied up on the front of his throat, basically.
Does my huge size help this?
No, it's what's allowing you to make it at only difficulty 7
Good to know.
because your
Thank
hands are
you,
big
huge
enough.
size. All right. I think. How much does spending a blood point help physical stuff?
Per blood point spent, per physical attribute gained. However, you can only spend 1 blood point in this way a turn because of your generation.
I will spend 1 blood point to get an additional bonus to this.
All right, your strength is now 1 greater for the duration of the scene.
Good to know. Four successes.
So you hit and have 3 extra successes. Roll damage, which is flat strength.
Flat strength. Okay.
Mhm.
Um.
Remember that in the dice page, you can set your attributes to be boosted by a certain amount. So in this case, set your strength to be boosted by 1 under boosted attributes, right above the main dice pools.
Oh, boosted by 1. Good
That way
to
you don't have
know.
to manually add it in.
Okay, good to know. Okay. And then if it's just strength. So
Just strength.
Just
So
strength.
strength
Okay.
plus 2 extra dice from your extra successes.
So strength plus 2. Okay.
Mhm.
And this is difficulty 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Damage roll is difficulty 6.
3 successes.
He's not looking good, but he'll still get 1 more chance to break out free from your grapple,
Okay.
presuming you succeed next round and unconscious him. Or incapacitate him, as it's properly called. Meanwhile, with Maisie, the kid is starting to come to. Where? Who are you? Let me go! And will begin flailing in your arms.
Maisie will set him down. It's like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. You just had a really big dog bite you.
Never mind the unlicked bite mark that is still bleeding on his arm. Doesn't really look like a dog bite, but it's dark out. Maybe he can't quite tell. But there was this guy and...
No, it was a dog. I'm not sure if you ate something weird from that trash that you were digging through, but that was a dog.
Either way, he seems to start flailing again. Let me go! Let me down! I need to... I'm not going back home again.
I'm not gonna make you go home. I don't know where you're from, but you're okay. I was more concerned about a dog biting your ass than taking you home. I don't really care about that.
Well, fuck off and let me go. He will squirm, but his squirming is nothing compared to your grip.
Are you going to settle down so I can set you down gently?
He doesn't answer, but just kind of stares at you.
She'll continue staring at him and be like, I will put you down.
While the staring is going on, and this attempt at being a mom is going on, Ursi, try to make a final roll, I guess, to attempt to torpor him.
Alrighty. Oh my god. 8 successes.
8
Wow.
successes indeed. So make your damage roll, but with 7 extra dice.
Oh no.
No, hang on. That's more than 8 successes, isn't it? 2, 4, 6, 7.
It's difficulty 7. I made him because he's currently
sorry.
using one of his hands to keep the guy from screaming.
Fair.
If he wasn't a big guy, he'd be rolling at difficulty 8 or even 9. if you could do it at all. I'm being generous here.
Okay, so
Mhm.
Otherwise, this would be a mixed action.
Strength plus 7.
Yep.
Oh God. Okay, 4 successes.
Well, he's definitely in the incapacitated tier. There might be more special stuff about needing lethal to incapacitate him I can't remember, but I don't care. So right now he is knocked out. Torpid. He's not exactly a strong blood anyway. But now you're down here at the bottom of the alley with an unconscious guy and you're still not quite aware of how much noise you made here, one way or the other. And there's a kid somewhere around the corner.
How
He's
much of this
probably
can
seeing too much.
How much of this can Artemis hear from top of the building?
Here?
Hmm.
Let's make assuming you're not just looking over the side and just focusing on what you can hear. Let's make a perception alertness check, difficulty 6.
What would be my difficulty to do the same thing?
Is that difficulty 6 minus my war specs?
Difficulty 6 as well, but actually, how much would you say you were still focusing on the your that was going on?
A decent amount? I don't know.
I can say Artemis is probably more focusing on what's in the alley.
I'm going to knock Jack up to difficulty 7 because you're still watching that one guy that thought he heard something but isn't sure if he did or not.
Okay.
Okay, so 4 successes.
Also 4 successes, but without the glowing 10.
Mm-hmm. You both hear the series of bangs, each seeming louder than it really is, as first Maisie with the quieter bangs, and then Ursi with the much louder bangs starts going down the fire escape at a frightening pace. And then the bang of something getting knocked into the dumpster down below. And then the much louder bang or boom as Ursi drops down and lands. There's sounds of a scuffle going on down below still. But thankfully, not quite enough to tempt more than a glance or two from the person on scout, though it's currently riding let me tick that up, kind of a hair thin between being noticed and being not noticed. Good thing this is such an incompetent operation you're spying on.
I believe our illustrious leader has got his man.
Our illustrious leader is about to get us caught.
I think you're being overcautious. In any case,
I have a question.
the silence from the alley below suggests to me that everything's dealt with now.
I hope so.
I think after Ursi knocks him out, he's gonna spend some quick time just one second, just double checking my coat. Oh, yeah. I think Ursi will go to put the body in the dumpster temporarily, but before he leaves him, he's going to set him in the dumpster and then do a quick check of his surroundings to make sure that no one has line of sight on him now that things dealt with. And then if that comes up clean, I think he's going to stake him just to be safe. like in the dumpster.
Hmm.
Just
Well,
because
he's
I don't
currently
think
he currently can't
very
defend
well.
himself, so you can stake him easily enough. But what are you doing with him? Tossing him in the dumpster?
I want
Or
to set him. I want to set him quietly in the dumpster, and then uh, try to move some stuff over him so that if someone comes to like throw their trash into the dumpster, they don't notice him because he's gonna come back for him later. But he's here for a different job. This kind of happened.
indeed. So you're tossing him into the dumpster, coming back for him later.
Yeah. I've
Do you want to
taken
go
him.
around the corner and see what Maisie's is up to with a struggling kid who's currently giving her a stare down?
I think Ursi won't because I think he trusts. He doesn't know Maisie well, but it's a kid that just got fed on, and Ursi is very memorable. So I think he's going to not go towards the kid.
All right, well, back with Maisie and the kid that's bleeding from a bite wound in the arm. And a staring contest.
Yep. Hmm. Yeah, she's just gonna kind of stare at him and like, are you calm now? Can I set you down without you flailing?
Are you going to put me down now?
If you're calm, I will set you down.
He's got attacked by a guy?
A dog.
Dog?
Dog. I don't know
How
what
can I
you've
be
been eating.
calm?
It's called deep breaths and trusting that you're safe now. So calm
Fuck
down.
off. You're not my mom.
Wouldn't want to be your mom. Thank you. Not old enough to be your mom either. Now, calm down and I will set you on the ground. You're acting like a 2-year-old.
Do you put him on the ground?
Only if he's calm.
Well, he's not arguing.
So then she'll set him down and then grab his arm and kind of inspect the bite.
Fortunately, you grab his arm, yes.
And then, yeah, she's going to try and she'll like rip some of her like shirt and just wrap it up real quick.
Yeah, he didn't care about this band anyway.
Yeah. She can get another shirt.
Common sense.
Yes, please.
You can lick it closed.
Yeah, but then he's going to realize something's weird.
Indeed, indeed. But
I mean,
then he
personally, I
won't
would
have
have
like a
had
scar
her
mark.
say. Sorry, go ahead.
I said, but then he won't have a scar mark in the shape of a human bite mark, but with like sharper teeth.
True. So, yeah,
There's always the classic thing of, I'm going to kiss it and make it better. And kids are still at an age where they believe that kind of stuff.
I don't know about this
And
kid.
if a kid walks up to someone, and says, a dog bit me, but then a woman kissed it and made it better, they're not going to believe him.
Okay, then yes, before she wraps it, she's going to like lick it closed just to kind of like clean the wound, I guess. And then tie it up.
There'll be much fussing about you, and that's gross.
Oh, at least he's thinking about something other than a person biting him. There.
The moment that you finish wrapping it, and presumably let go of his arm, he will give you a look, and then bolt off running in the opposite direction of the freight yard.
She's gonna sigh. Oh, that's not what I wanted.
He's not running to the freight yard, but he is running away from it.
Yeah, now she just has to hope that he doesn't think about it too much later. Unless she makes chase.
Do you want to make chase?
Mm. It's not
Too
good.
long. You hesitated too
I was
long.
gonna say it's not good to have someone who's been bitten, possibly knows about the well, doesn't know about the masquerade, but knows about that running around loose. So she probably should have ran after him.
So they should I? Should I not? That takes a little too long.
Yep.
So you can try and chase him, but it'll be a longer affair than it would have been if you just held on to him.
She'll let it go. She'll deal with that later.
All right. Well, rounding back around the corner, there's Ursi stuffing something into a dumpster. And no sign of the other two, presumably still up at the top of the roof.
Maisie's just gonna kind of walk up to Ursi. Are we going back up there?
Presumably. How'd you handle the kid?
Well, he doesn't have a
Need to
bite
make
mark,
sure.
but he ran off.
What story you feed him?
He thinks he got bit by a dog, and that he ate something that made him think he was a man.
Common. Would Ursi know if that's enough to not register as a masquerade breach? Like, is
He's
it
a kid, he's unsure of
Here.
what he's seen, and he has no bite mark to prove it. Probably nothing anyone will believe.
so? Ursi's so masquerade
And
wise.
that would require him to trust adults enough to go to them about it.
Very true. Ursi will go. Good work. Guys handled. Nods towards the dumpster.
Is he dead?
Not permanently.
Well, that's good. He might be
But
someone
he's
that has
staked.
information.
Exactly. But he's staked. We'll come. We'll get him when we go to leave. We should head back up quietly.
Speak for yourself. You were quite loud.
Yeah.
We should probably move locations, considering how loud you were.
Not a terrible idea. We'll converse up there. I think when you asked about the loud thing, he hesitated a bit because he, while was in control, was also like very focused on oh fuck vampire kid shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as
With a much
Yeah, I think-
gentler clang, 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 you ascend to the roof of the building. These clangs are nowhere near as loud as the ones you made going down. But they sound
I think-
loud in your ears in the way that any noise you make when you're trying to be quiet does.
yeah. Urshi will help her up again if she needs help.
You will.
Okay, then he'll just kind of lift her up. And then climb up himself, trying to keep quiet.
You return to where Artemis and Jack have been keeping a steady watch on things. Jack more than once glancing back over that lookout that's closest to things. And the one that seems to have heard something at least once. But not enough to report it in. These guys really are incompetent. It's like he knew all along.
I think Ursi, when he gets back up top, he was on his knees last time he was up here. I think he'll, once he gets closer to like having sightline on the actual freight yard from the thing, he'll get down and sort of be essentially laying down next to the others just to keep a lower profile since it was very loud. So having less to see probably helpful.
There is the large scraping of gravel as a 7.5 foot tall man kind of belly crawls along the gravel.
I didn't think of it that way. Fair enough.
I mean, no one
But that-
down below is going to hear it at all, but I'm just saying up here it's
Yeah,
kind of odd and
yeah.
inconspicuous.
It is painfully grating to Ursi as he starts going. Not physically painful, but like in his mind, he's just like, "Oh God, I know this is I know this is helpful in the long run, and I know this will help me from down there. But oh boy, this feels so loud, even though I know it isn't actually." Because anyone that could actually hear it, it's tempered by the rest
Like
of
a bucket
Ursi.
falling down a stone well in Moria and just kind of banging, banging, banging. And then the goblins come and kill you all.
Of course, of course.
Without removing the telescope from his eye, Artemis will just say, "Did we get our man?
He's handled.
Is there anything we
I
need
assume
to
it's a
know?"
man. Could be a woman.
It's a figure of speech. You know what? Never mind.
He's current handled, s- s- staked and hidden for now.
Hmm.
Huh. One of the kindred.
Yeah.
Um,
We hope so. Otherwise, you've just murdered someone with a piece of wood.
no, definitely kindred.
Yep. He tried taking a bite out of a child down there.
How utterly gauche. Thank you for
Hence the
dealing.
noise.
Hence, we should probably move our location.
Do you believe he was a scout of some kind for the train yard individuals?
Mm,
Unlikely. Can't say with
Well-
certainty, of course, but unlikely.
Jack may have more to pitch in on this, but I don't believe they were aware of our presence, even considering your noise.
Just a quick
Lookouts are
correction about something
incompetent.
earlier, guys. He would not have been torpid, but he would still have been incapacitated and therefore easy to stake. So he is staked, but not torpid.
Okay. So yeah,
The lookouts ain't noticed shit. If they were at Conchan, we'd all be dead.
fair enough. Has anything else
A
transpired?
tenth of that noise would have gotten you killed in Vietnam.
Has things changed since I went down there? I know it wasn't very long, but still.
He will turn to Ursi and say, I don't know. Kane hasn't updated me yet. He says, looking up at the sky.
Just as an
Nothing
out-character.
particularly. It's only been a couple of minutes. So I went down the space of less than 5 minutes.
Fair.
Well, one of them scratched his ass. Another one started talking to the other one. Can't read lips, but they handed him a cigarette, so I presume he asked for a cigarette.
So safe to say that, despite the noise, thankfully, haven't drawn too much of it, enough attention to be noticed. Good to know.
Must have been the wind.
Not the best scenario, but well, we were potentially going to be dealing with a worse scenario if that had managed to go around.
Yeah, Screaming Kid's a pretty good dead giveaway. There's something's
Yeah.
going on.
Or, it would be extremely unpleasant if it had managed to stay quiet, and then we came down, and there was a dead child in the alley.
Well, so
That
long as
would
he
have been
isn't one of their
considered.
people.
Sorry, what did Jack say?
So long as he isn't one of their people. He's
So
not
long as it's
Camarilla.
not one of them and they don't notice him missing, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
If he was, you would have recognized him.
Well, Jack would have recognized them, yes.
No. I said you would have recognized him, as in Ersti would have recognized him, because according to you, they know all the Camarilla in the area.
Except he didn't get a chance to see Ursi. First he was tackled by Maisie, and then Ursi came up behind and grabbed him by the throat and, unconned him.
I
Incapacitated him.
feel like I'm being slightly misinterpreted here.
I think he's saying that he's probably not Cam if Ursi didn't recognize him.
Exactly.
Oh. In that case, yeah, no, Ursi doesn't recognize him.
Yeah.
Am I describing him for me?
You know what
Tan
occurs?
skin, black hair, long.
Get a fedora.
Oh God, not a fedora.
What's wrong with fedoras?
I don't know. Is it 1967? I'm not sure.
It's Rat Pack. Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr.
He also had one of those truly awful belts that aren't belts, where it basically looks like string.
Oh dear Lord.
Ah, Jesus.
Lots of necklaces.
We need to dust this man immediately. Where have you put him?
He's in the dumpster.
Yeah, under some stuff and staked.
Probably where he belongs.
Do I recognize this person?
No, not from the description at the very least, no.
This will be a mercy killing. Please allow me to do my job.
Ursi will put a hand on Artemis's shoulder and just gonna be like, there. We'll handle that later.
Can we at least burn the hat?
All right.
The hat can go.
Good.
Not important.
Good.
Just not here.
Joking aside, is there much more we can see here this evening, or should we repair to our...
Oh, there is more to see. I'm just waiting to hear whether or not y'all are moving location or not.
I think from memory, would Ursi know of another apartment building?
Well, there are several apartment buildings right around here, but if there's also like the warehouses, there's the nearby, there's at least one nearby factory. Those are your primary options of elevated viewing near enough to the rail yard without being obstructed. If you really wanted to get creative, you could probably do something ridiculous like try and climb some sort of radio tower.
I think Ursi wants to stick to some apartment buildings because that's more. Has more plausible deniability of like why you're up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's gonna. So yeah, I think a building that has a good view, but isn't and relatively close by. I think he's thinking about one of those, trying to think of one that would work that we could get to
Most of them are
quickly.
along the street here that this one's on. As the other neighboring streets, the freight yard, are used up by other industrial buildings.
Understandable. Okay.
Are they close enough that we could jump?
Yes, they're also down a floor or two, so they may take a point of fall damage. Maybe. This is the tallest one, like I said earlier.
I think Ursi will yeah, Ursi will go take a brief look at the rail yard to see if anything's actively happening, like right now. And then if it seems like stuff hasn't started to happen yet, like
Alright,
of the big
let me
thing,
check. Yeah, no, I've delayed that enough. Does seem to be something happening, yes. Looks like Valeria is starting to round up her crew. Get them all together near the tanker cars.
I think. Uh, Actually, yeah, no, I think Ursi is just gonna kind of get, like, say, get lower. He's on his stomach already. I think he's gonna. I think it's a little bit too late to swap buildings right now. Something's happening. As he's gonna kind of put the binoculars back up to get a better look.
Well, in that case, for the three of you with viewing glasses of various kinds and shapes and sizes, don't worry. It's more about how you use them than their size, I assure you. Or so the old ladies say, anyway. But a scene not too dissimilar from the recording you've seen plays out, albeit with a few changes. Valeria does still bang on the doors of the now revealed boxcars. The flamboyant man Vlakos still merges alongside another different figure. Not the one he came here with tonight, that one's already with Valeria. But some sort of escort, perhaps? The second car is open, but there are no people inside. Only a few large crates. One of Valeria's people opens one, and an arm shoots out, before being shoved back inside and the lid replaced. Valeria barks something, words not understandable at this distance. I don't believe any of you have any lip-reading training. Not that there's really a skill for that. And there is no further trouble from the contents. Clearly, they've clamped down on potential escapes, at least until they are properly controlled in some suitable manner. Not long later, Valeria gives one of hers a small bottle, something dark and red residing within. Or you assume it's red. Just know it's dark, but it's probably red. The man jogs off in the direction of the security shack, waving at a very different man in a security outfit from the one you met the other night, and tosses them the bottle. Something is exchanged verbally between the two, unfriendly by the body language. But ultimately, the first man leaves, and the second one heads back to the shack, leans against the wall, and starts downing the contents of the bottle. Elsewhere, the fox of a man, Vlakos, appears to be smooth-talking his way through the various people assembled, before ending with the concealed feminine figure, the one that arrived with Valeria tonight, but him 2 nights prior, according to the recording. And at Valeria's urging, and if you were to guess, itching, the crates begin to be moved. All of them in the direction of the fence with the gap in it.
Hmm.
Those not moving the fence crates, most of them are moving the crates toward the fence. But those that aren't begin to disperse. Some towards that freight rail car earlier. Others around somewhere out of sight from your current visibility angle.
Hmm.
But you know it's in the direction of the back corner of the rail yard that isn't the one that's near you. There's 4
Hmm.
corners. 2 of them are near the highly active area that's not currently being used by vampires, and 2 on this side that are. One of them is near you. One of them is the opposite angle, and is covered by more than 1 row of freight cars.
And just something I want to clarify. Did the illusion of the cars
It happened as it
dropping
did in the video.
happen as it did in the video? Okay. When,
It was just like, except that, well, the only thing is, it wasn't like ripples like it was in the video. It just kind of went back to regular.
yeah, probably a little bit too far away to notice that type of ripple.
Or, it just doesn't work quite the same way. Tech versus
True.
the naked eye. Who
Very
knows?
true. Who knows? I think Ursi like does a click of his tongue, like a when he sees that happen, because
What is that in the description I gave you?
the illusion happening in real time. Because that means that most likely it is a case that, like, we had some suspicions about what it was. Now it's a lot more solidified in terms of what it potentially could be. Because it could have been something messing with the tech before. But now he's seen it with his own 2 eyes. Okay. So they're moving the people in boxes to the hole in the fence and one other place we can't see, but we know the direction that they're going towards it.
All the crates are coming out by the way of the fence gap, but there are people dispersing elsewhere.
Okay.
Outside the fence gap, beyond the bushes, there are the vans that they arrived in, or you assume they arrived in. You saw a few of them arrive in them, but there was at least one already there. But not a big jump to assume they're there for this exact purpose.
Mm-hmm. Extremely unlikely. I understand. Would it be is it possible to see the license plates from our angle? I know it would be hard to make out regardless, but like, is that even a possibility?
I want to say yes, but it's going to be difficult reading that. I'm going to say the base for this, for you and Artemis, would be 9, but -1 from your viewing implements will make it 8. For Jack gets knocked down to 7 because he has the better viewing equipment.
Okay. I assume I get detail oriented for this.
You do, yes.
Gonna spend a willpower.
You've been spending a lot tonight. This is your 3rd, I think.
Yep. But you gave me back a willpower from last session. So what?
I think I did that the session before last, but yes.
No, it was the last one because my argument was apparently super curmudgeon-y. So 2 successes.
Oh yeah, I need to. So it was difficulty 8, and then with Auspex difficulty 7.
That is correct.
Okay. 3 successes.
Well, of the 3 vans being loaded with 2 crates each, which by their size, you can't imagine each crate holding more than 1 person unless they're really small. Making a total of 6 presumably people being trafficked here. Artemis and Ursi, you will see all of the plates. Jack only sees 2 of the 3, but Jack basically eternally memorizes them because eidetic memory.
All right, I saw 2 of them. How many did you all see?
I managed to catch all of them, but
Yeah, but you're now you're going to have to struggle to remember them unless you write them down right now. I wonder, did you come prepared with a notepad?
Or you could tell Jack right now.
I absolutely did. It's in my coat inventory. Because I have a whole tab for this.
Yes, he could tell Jack about that, but that would be losing the dick measuring contest.
As
And Artemis
Ursi
did
is
also see them.
Yeah,
going to
but
quickly jot them down on take out the notepad and quickly jot them down.
Artemis is purposefully staying quiet just to let Ursi get the win here.
Yeah. He's trying to at least somewhat support Ursi, but at the same time not get dragged into the direct contest.
Mhm.
Understandable. Understandable.
Although he will surreptitiously just check that Ursi did get all of them in his notebook.
Or that he got them all correctly or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ursi, after writing them down, he'll quickly do these cross reference. These are the plates I saw. How do these do two of them differ from the two? Do two of them match the ones you saw? Artemis, did you notice them as well?
One moment, I got a phone call.
Artemis will look over your list and say, "Well, it was difficult to see from this distance, but I think you got the ones I saw." Artemis sitting on 5 successes.
Yeah, you absolutely saw them much clearer.
Out of character, I don't know. I'm waiting for the GM to tell me.
Understandable. God, English sucks. Words are hard. I was gonna say something and then mental dictionary failed me.
Hmm.
Somehow, I as I come back now, somehow I only just now see the circle someone put up there of 1/?
Oh wait, that should be 2, right? Because you said
What's the circle for? Was that someone's idea of the clock?
yeah.
Yeah, if you're talking about the clock, I have tracking their awareness of you. I'm not going to say. I mean, I've already technically sent it directly to Rob, so he knows. But I'm trusting on his professionalism, not to say it just yet.
Okay.
All good, dude.
Okay, cool.
I will say this: he's using a much prettier clock than the one you've put up.
Oh, for
I
sure.
actually, when I tried to run Blades in the Dark, I actually spent my own money on something in the marketplace that had like these really pretty clocks.
Mm-hmm. I remember you buying them.
Ooh, nice.
We never got to use.
Very
Well,
nice.
did we get to use? I think we got to use them once
We got to use one or two of them. Yeah,
when we burned the building down.
indeed. Suffice it to say, I'm not nearly as good at running Blades in the Dark as you are, Rob.
Yeah, I'm sure you're fine, dude. Do you know what? It's one of my favorite games to run because it stretches bits of your GM repertoire that don't get stretched a lot. You sort of have to come up with stuff on the fly all the time, which is probably my favorite bit. But it's hard.
Mm-hmm. In any case, what did I come back to after stepping away for a moment for that phone call?
Oh, while you were gone, Ursi decided that he was going to overthrow the Camarilla and replace it with the Soviet Union.
Are you sure this isn't Friday's game?
Because you weren't here, I decided to act as interim ST and told him that yes, he could. So the Camarilla is now the Soviet Union. Just thought you should know.
Okay, but you're immediately purged.
Damn. Well, I guess it was worth it for the revolution. Lead on in my stead, brother Ursi.
And then someone stabs Ursi with the job. I mean, I'm sorry, he gets sick under reasonably not suspicious circumstances and dies peacefully in his sleep. Definitely not stabbed by a dozen knives in his bed.
Damn.
What?
Good game, guys.
Meanwhile, Maisie becomes the new ruler of the Soviet Union. I mean, the Camarilla, that's totally not the Camarilla anymore. And Artemis is her secret policeman.
There we go.
Artemis is
But no, seriously,
definitely
what did I miss?
staging a coup.
Not much. We were just going over the. Ursi was showing both of us the things.
Basically double checking, so you're all making sure the numbers are correct. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
And indeed, they seem to be. I mean, at least the two that Jack saw, he sees on there. He can't really speak for the third one, but it matches with what Artemis saw. Oddly enough, and you will all notice this, they are Georgia license plates. For whatever that's worth.
Well,
Well.
that's the next state up, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It is indeed. It's also where Atlanta is, which is a very big SWAT stronghold in the southeast.
And is the only other city in the US that I've been to. Albeit very briefly and in the airport.
Yeah, Atlanta is like the
Hey.
big airport of the southeast.
I've been to Florida twice, and the second time we went, there was a massive hurricane flood, biblical thing. So all the airports were closed, and it was the day before we were due to go home. So we ended up having to drive to Atlanta.
Hey, it's only a biblical hurricane if the Waffle House closes. You
A
don't
bolt
really
of
need to be
lightning.
worried if the Waffle House closes, unless the Waffle House closes.
A bolt of lightning hit the house next to ours and took out all of our electricals. I felt quite biblical.
Yeah, no, that's not too bad. You had to check whether or not the Waffle House was closed. If the Waffle House was closed, it's time to evacuate the city. If the Waffle House isn't closing, you're fine, probably.
Fair.
If the Waffle House is closed, isn't it the case that you should have already evacuated?
Generally speaking, but that's not how most Florida men do it.
Very true. Very true.
I actually read the written report of a storm chaser that stayed in the parking garage for Hurricane Andrew. Along with some pictures. It's really neat stuff.
You got your own hurricane. That's pretty cool.
I mean, there's been enough named hurricanes now to cover most of the basic English names list, I'm sure.
Is there a Hurricane Robert? I have not heard of it.
Let me just enter this into Google real quick. I'm sure one will turn up.
Probably from the last century.
If there is a Hurricane Robert, I disown it because only my mother calls me that.
Hurricane Robert was a Category 4 major hurricane that made landfall in Florida during the 2009 hurricane season.
Recent.
Okay.
Well, no, wait, hypothetical hurricanes. That is not an actual Wikipedia. That is something else.
I will just add 2009. Not that recent. Sorry.
Well,
I know it feels like it is.
I had my first kid in 2009, okay? So it's still pretty recent.
The closest thing we've gotten is a Hurricane Bob, I'm afraid.
Oh,
Ew.
come on.
Ew. A Bob?
There has been a Bob, yes.
I don't like that name.
I think the problem is that they start at the A and then keep going until they run out of storms, or I don't think they've run out of letters. So, and R is farther down the alphabet, so it hasn't been reached. I mean, if you actually look at the name charts they have for hurricanes, which they make in advance, I'm sure you'll find a Robert. It just never got used. Because they actually make it the full list before the season starts. So you get to see what the Z was for every year, even though if there wasn't a Hurricane Z that year. Which there usually isn't. In any case, hurricanes aside, and I do have things planned because I do believe one makes landfall later this year in game. So, lovely times.
Oh, my brain hadn't even registered that as a possibility.
That might actually be the one I was in Florida for.
What time were you in Florida?
Around the year 2000-ish. Yeah.
Well, in any case, we can think about that as we go.
Yep.
Currently, the various things are happening. The various are leaving, but going through the operation of loading up the vans. And one by one, the vans will peel away. And soon, it's just a couple of graffitied rail yard cars, boxcars, sitting on the line, and no one else seems to be around. Although you do know that they have their guy in the security shack still. You're pretty sure he's a ghoul. The one that you didn't meet.
Hmm.
But there's no telling if there might be one lurking around. One or two of them lurking around. Who knows? The lookout's gone. But you don't know where all of them got off to.
Hmm.
If they've gone, I think as they go, what direction do they head?
Do which one's head?
Do the vans split up or do they all go the same way?
They go around the corner and out of sight.
Around the corner and
You're in
out
the
of
middle
sight.
of a
Okay.
street. Your apartment's on the middle of a street. You don't really have vantage around either of those corners.
True.
You would if there weren't other buildings that, while they're less tall, they still block the view of the street level from this angle.
Are the buildings close enough together for us to potentially leap between?
This question has been asked, and yes, you can leap between them, but they are far enough down that a poor roll could inflict some falling damage. Like, you're about 8 stories up here on the roof. The
Really
nearest
tempting.
one is probably about 2 stories less in height. And of course, if you fail the jump entirely, well,
Worse.
you're looking at 8. Which, while it won't kill you, at worst, it will torpor you, but it won't kill you either way.
The thing is, I'm wearing black, and even if I really badly injure myself, red goes with black, so I should be okay.
You're going throughout this whole thing anyway, because you already got dust all over it. Gray dust on black clothing. I mean, goodness. As I stated when you climbed over the edge earlier tonight.
Does it look like there is a building visible that would have a better visibility of where those trucks went?
If you had been there, yes.
Okay, so it's too late.
By the time you get over to them, well, even at like regular intercity speeds, they're not going to be there any longer.
Hmm. Okay. And no, around the corner doesn't tell us anything because the direction you go. Well,
It
no,
doesn't.
it could.
I'm aware it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um. And so they've now left the rail yard. Are the actual freight cars, are they starting to move again, or do they re-illusion?
No, but Vlakos, seems to have left with the others. You saw him depart by way of whatever's going on with that other freight car, the rusted one.
Mm. Okay.
Which means he's presumably in town for the evening.
Yes. Okay.
Well, it depends on when the next train leaves, and he probably hooks his cars up then. But right now, he's in Atlanta.
Welcome to
Atlanta?
Miami.
Sorry, not Atlanta. Miami. My bad.
Oh.
We were talking about Atlanta, and that got me.
I'm going to be honest. I know you said Atlanta. My brain did not register that and fully was just like, yeah, he's in Miami now. Which he is. Okay. So they've left.
How long after the fact do you stay up here on the roofs?
How much time
It's
do we have
currently
left?
it's currently about 2:30 a.m. by the time the last of them seems to leave. Seems to leave.
What's the play, boss man? We have ourselves
You've
a
got a couple hours left, but you do need to be thinking about the sunrise.
an potential informant in a dumpster down in the alleyway. Do we withdraw and question him now?
Earthy pauses for a moment and then goes, "The main players are gone from the rail yard. Yeah, I think I concur with that. Let's handle the interlooper and separate ourselves from this site."
Jack, can you see any more reason for us to stay observing here, or shall we head back?
Not that I can see, unless Kane wants me to, unless I roll otherwise. Do I notice anything?
Beyond what's already been stated, no. Well,
Yeah, I'm not
actually,
seeing
yes.
anything.
Go ahead and make a roll. Difficulty 8 minus 2. Difficulty 6. Perception alertness. You've been watching the yard this entire time while the others have been conversing.
Sweet Mary, mother of fuck.
Oh yeah, there is at least 3 of those fuckers still lurking about, just out of sight. You can see when occasionally a limb crosses into your view, or a small
Yeah,
trail
there's
of smoke from someone smoking.
Yeah, there's 3 of those fuckers over there, waiting.
At the rail yard?
Goddamn Yep, using classic VC techniques. Goddamn VC.
There's 3 still left.
They're not in a position where they can probably be getting a good view at what y'all are doing, unless you'll call attention to yourselves. But if y'all were to try and go investigate the rail yard, you would definitely be needing to make some rolls. And I'm just itching to add another slice to this pie. Clock thing.
I think where venture capitalists are concerned, discretion is the better part of valor this evening. Artemis has completely misunderstood the term VC.
Viet Cong.
I suppose that would make more sense in the circumstances. Noted. Although we may need to talk about your pop culture references. They're a little out of date.
It ain't pop culture. I was in Vietnam. I was shooting at people who were Vietnamese. We called them VC. Would you prefer I call him Charlie? We also called him Charlie.
Charlie is an entirely different premise for me in the 1990s with the club scene. I don't touch that stuff anymore, though. Don't need to. Blood's
So when I say VC, I mean Viet Cong.
It suddenly occurs to me out of character that in the UK, Charlie is a nickname for cocaine that might not be the same nickname in the States.
I wouldn't know. I don't do the drug scene.
I have no idea.
I'm sure I could
I don't
Google
know if
it,
Jack
but
would know that or not, given his involvement with the drug scene.
I mean, you would know a lot of names for cocaine. Probably not that one if it's a new one. If it was used at all before, say, 95 or 94, you would probably know it.
Mm-hmm.
If it was used in the U.S., yeah.
Or in Mexico. He's been in Mexico.
Or
He spent
Mexico.
a couple of years in Mexico.
Well, he's the only party member who speaks Spanish.
Yep, that is going to come up in a session or two. Depending on
No
which direction
habla.
I'll go after this.
No habla español.
And I have to figure out a freaking it's Hispanic accent. That's going to be lovely.
Good luck.
Well, I can always stick the housekeeper on you.
Just use the same voice I do for Santiago in the Pathfinder game. That's basically a Mexican character. Although, don't use the third person to talk about yourself, as he does.
Yeah, Santiago came up again last session.
Ah, cool.
Anyway,
If there's 3 people there, yeah, I think Ursi will go. There's still 3 there. They're keeping watch. We have about 2 hours till we absolutely have to be out of here. I think
what was that?
we'll give it one. After checking the time, Ursi's gonna go. If there's still 3 people there, we have around 2 hours before we absolutely have to be out of here. So I think an hour. Yeah, Ursi will go. We'll give it 1 more hour, and then I think we deal with our friend below and get out of here.
By the time 3:30 a.m. rolls around, one of them, the one that was smoking, appears to have vanished into the freight car, the rusted one. But the other 2
Smoker's
are still
gone.
very much around.
Other 2 ain't gone.
Okay. That
Whatever they were doing before, hiding out of sight or perhaps just having a conversation on the other side of a cargo car, like now they appear to be playing a game of cards on top of a barrel.
They're playing cards. From the looks of it, blackjack.
One of them's cheating, Jack notices with a lingering success.
One of them's cheating.
I think
Looks
Ursi
like
gives
some
that a
bitch has an ace up his sleeve.
Ursi gives that a small chuckle, and then goes, "All right, we need to handle the guy below. Let's get out of here."
All right, boss man, whatever you say.
Macy's gonna stand up in stress and be like, finally.
And yeah, then he's gonna start going down, and I think he's gonna go down slowly so he can be more quiet.
Aside from saving the kid earlier, Maisie, this has been like the most boring 4 hours of your existence.
Yep. And the most quiet outside of church.
It might not have been quite so boring if you had like something to see with.
Yeah.
What was that, Rob?
I would say Artemis is going to remove the rusty deck chair from under the door handle for the roof access, just to make sure there's no evidence anyone was up here.
Clink, clunk.
And also, we'll turn to Maisie and say, next time we do this, we'll make sure you have something sufficiently phallic to compete with.
Ursi gives a really confused look when he hears you talking to her at that. I don't think he's caught on to I think he forgot about the dick measuring contest aspect that was mentioned before.
He's going to look at Ursi, shrug, and go, maybe he's talking about Sigmund Freud. I read a Freud book once that said that all women have penis envy.
Freud is super strange. He has some wackadoo theories. Let's get out of here.
Maisie will lean over to Artemis like, I think they're becoming friends.
Let's hope so. That's what we're working towards.
Yeah, and Ursi will start descending quietly.
As quietly as he can.
Yeah, fair. Very fair.
Clank, clank, bang, boom. Clank, bang. Shh.
Yeah, like his foot descends down the staircase very slowly, and like it looks like it should be delicate, but the second it touches the ground, it's like ah, fuck, it's just too heavy.
Jack will actually proceed down stealthily.
Sneakity, sneakity, sneakity. Like when when one or two people in the party are stealthy, but then there's the fighter and the cleric, and they're clinky, full plate armor, so it doesn't matter. Or when they have a pet T-Rex falling around behind with big stomping footsteps.
And Mario Kart's
Mhm.
through the goddamn forest.
Anyway, looking at this guy in the face, do I recognize him?
No, but he is an affront to every bit of fashion sense Artemis has.
Artemis would take the fedora and just hold it in the same way kind of Hamlet holds the skull.
I'm wondering how he hasn't had a aneurysm just by being around Jack. You've seen Jack's picture, right?
I think it's less the quality of his outfit or dirtiness of the outfit, and more the combination of aspects in the outfit.
Yeah.
Because you're
Plus-
still wearing a suit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the little short story I did for how Artemis got his hat, I think I put the young man was well dressed, at least for the budget that he had. It's that Artemis understands there are levels of what you can do with what you have, but there is no excuse for a fedora with from the picture I saw, it's gone now. A string bow tie. Sorry, a string tie.
Multiple necklaces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With his shirt
That are
wide
all, like,
open.
Yeah, it's a button-down shirt that only has like that is tucked into the pants with the string belt,
There we go. Yeah, thank you. No,
and
that
it's
is
only buttoned at like the butt at the bottom, like two.
if Artemis ever runs into Johnny Depp, well,
Yeah. That's kind of accurate looking.
I have staked Johnny Depp the vampire. Shit,
mhm. No, it's fine.
it's fine. How far away were we parked from the building again? Like a block?
The parking lot on the other side of the apartments from the frill yard. So it's not very far away, no. But you think someone around here is going to snitch to the cops if they see someone carrying a body?
Yeah, probably not. Um,
Probably not.
probably not. But I think,
Just
yeah,
remember, you're being watched and judged constantly by that
yeah.
man right there.
Ursi,
Yep.
bring the car nearby and open the trunk. I'll do the
Yeah, I
rest.
got tarps for a reason. As Ursi will continue walking back to the thing, to the Volkswagen bus. That's right. I'd forgotten for a moment.
The trunk is actually in the front.
Yeah, as he'll head over to the bus and pull it up next to the alley, preferably out of. Is there a way I can do that without being in line of sight of the rail yard? I understand.
What? Sorry?
Is there a way I can pull up the van to the alleyway without entering line of sight of the rail yard?
Yeah, absolutely, because the parking lot and that entrance of the alleyway is on the other side of the buildings from the rail yard.
Perfect.
Opposite ends.
Perfect. Then yeah, he'll do that. I'm sorry, I've been going insane. There's a fly in my room, and I can't get it.
Sounds like a personal problem.
It is.
Alright, I should probably have moved us to an alley. Let's see this one. Actually, no, this one.
Hey, I remember this one too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Once, unless anybody else does stuff while Earthy pulls up to the alley. Once he pulls up, he'll take out some of the tarp to do a good old little wrap.
Artemis will help, and he seems very efficient at this. You need to make sure the feet are inside. It's the most noticeable thing. If they pop out of the bottom, everyone will see immediately. You can have a little
Mhm.
hair sticking out of the top, not a problem, but feet, shoes, end of story.
Well, these tarps are large enough to handle. Well, me size, so should be good. Yeah, as I'll wrap up the unknown kindred and stick him in the trunk with Artemis's help.
Sorry about that, I was getting food someone brought. I believe you were
Ooh.
loading them into the van?
Yeah, we wrapped him in a tarp from the van and then stuck him in the trunk,
Mm-hmm.
which is the front.
Excellent, they're in the trunk. Where are you going to linger here? I think not.
No.
But where
No.
are you going to go?
Jack, you have a spare room at your mansion? I retort. I realize how rhetorical that is.
I have a torture basement.
Perfect.
Yep, it's got chains and everything. It's underneath one of the couches.
Well, that
Ercy,
one's more of a
like,
cubbyhole. But yes, you do have a torture basement. It was one of the first places you found.
I mean, you told me that there were manacles and stuff in the cubbyhole.
Yeah, child-sized.
Not
But
gonna mention that!
But no, one of the first rooms you found does in fact lead to basically a jail cell room.
Yeah,
With
we got
varying
a jail
sizes of
cell room
manacles.
down there. Not going to mention that either.
good. Then let's head. Unless you have any objections, let's head there.
No objections, but Maisie, you good with kids?
I mean, my mother volunteered me for the daycare at church, so yeah, decent enough.
Perfect, because I got a child, so yeah.
No comment.
Macy, how good are you with weird kids?
I mean, again, church children, they're pretty fucking weird.
Well,
Again.
I guess she's technically a church child.
Well,
The mention of that child in particular is leaving Ercy agitated. I think he just steps out of the conversation and gets into the driver's seat as the entire van lurches for a little bit.
I assume he doesn't like said child.
he doesn't
No,
like
he
bad
likes
things
said
happening to
child
kids.
just fine. Oh, was that out of character or in character? I can't tell. You don't do different voices.
That was in character. No, I don't do different voices.
I will respond in character. It's nothing to do with the child. It's more about the circumstances of her being turned.
That's fair. Children shouldn't be in this world.
Yep. Well, Grigory Malkov begged to differ.
Grigory Malkov, a crazy, beautiful bastard.
As you'll stand next to the low-income housing, and the warrior once again kind of blanks out for a moment.
Jack pinches the bridge of his nose. Well, you all have fun with that. I'm going to get on my motorcycle and I'll meet you at the mansion.
Maisie will nod and then kind of like lead Artemis to the van.
I like to think that you have to snap him out of it to get him to the van. It's like, hey, Artemis, poke, Artemis.
No, I just imagine her just like putting her hands on like his shoulder and just like, "Come on, Artemis, let's go." He's probably just mumbling away to himself.
What a monster! Incredible, crazy monster. How could anyone get that bad? It's amazing.
I'm having flashbacks to Seattle with Ashley and her and the Malkavian. Ugh.
Which one?
Olivia. Having to guide her ass away from shit. It's like, no, do not upset the prince. Stop licking everything.
No, don't take one of your socks off and try and put it on this foot statue the prince has.
Yep. Please don't lick anything in his domain.
Okay. Understand. Well, I was going to say understandable. That did not sound like the right words.
She's a special marshmallow.
Indeed. But y'all are on your way to the manor. And once Artemis snaps out his funk, is there anything y'all talk about on your way?
Maisie's got nothing.
I think Ursi chooses this moment to let out his nerd because his mind in the background has still been going on about, God, that DNA stuff is really interesting. Like, how would that work? How does that apply normally? And then how would that work with like vampires and shit?
Well, one would hope it applies not at all.
I mean, that likely isn't the case. It likely does apply, but I wonder if it'd be interesting to study how our. Actually, I should enter. DNA stuff was interesting. Wonder how that interacts with our type of biology now.
On a completely unrelated note, I believe we took some steps forward this evening with your relationship with Jack. I think your leadership is coming around a little. We still have some work to do, but I think your work in the alleyway this evening is good. Positive step.
Here's hoping he doesn't try to take my job a second time, or well, I guess third. And I don't think Ursi elaborates beyond that.
We need to convince Jack that a leader in wartime is one not to be challenged, and we are definitely at war at the moment.
Yeah, those Georgia plates probably came from Atlanta. That's not good.
I'm optimistic. I think we made positive steps this evening. Plus, you
Yeah.
saved a child. Always good.
Yeah. Children shouldn't have to deal with this shit.
I'm more thinking of the optics of the thing. Saving children, letting them get away from danger. It always scans well with the public.
Yeah.
Sorry, Artemis is a is a
Yeah, no.
mercenary fucker. But
Yeah. Yeah, Ursi had taken it the normal way initially, and then he went specific, and it was just like, "Oh, that's how you were thinking about it." I was just like, "No, kids aren't a part of this." Kind of hard stop in his mind. Yeah, kids shouldn't be. No kids.
absolutely, and for optics, it's 100% win for us. We just need to keep pushing away at those 100% wins. We'll get there. I'm confident.
Well, at least they'll get to have some interesting time with the fellow. All right.
So,
I should probably take a sample of him for that check that DNA stuff. Sorry, my mind's still on DNA stuff.
tactics with the young gentleman you captured, Mr. Hat. Are we going to give him over to the Camarilla, or are we going to question him ourselves first?
I think we question him ourselves first. Don't recognize him, so it's very likely he's another thin blood.
By the time you have pulled up to Jack's Manor, by the way, it will be getting too close to 4. And the sun does rise properly at somewhere between 6:20 and 6:30.
Quick question: does Artemis have enough time to get back to his haven now? And
From where you are now, and the lack of traffic, you can probably get there in half an hour or less.
Okay. So I need to give myself probably an hour to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, you're padding that by 10 minutes already. But yes. I mean, your entire upper floor is glass. All glass.
Yes.
You need to make it to the panic room in order to be properly safe. The one not glass thing.
Yeah, and Ursi has a bit further to go.
Indeed.
You know,
So if
Jack's
it's-
not a dick. You can crash at his place.
Out of character. Out of character. Totally realize that. Maybe need to bed that in character.
Yep. There are at least 2. I'm going to shut up. But go on. Well, no, those people
Yeah.
with the common sense. Maisie has someone that's presumably waiting for them back at her place. And guess what? Artemis will probably have to drop them back off or get Bagel to do it. I mean, or get Darcy to do it. And Darcy has a ghoul that is being left to his own devices that isn't his ghoul at his place. But yes, that's ultimately up to y'all.
Once we get to once we get to Jack's place and handle getting our guest situated, I think we call it there. We'll meet up tomorrow here or at Jack's, and we can. Sorry, it flew right in front of my face just now. Sorry. Yes. Yeah.
I guess we head inside with our buddy.
Yeah. I think Ursi just kind of has him in a barrel.
Definitely isn't some sort of sex doll at all. Definitely not.
It's just our buddy.
Yep. When Ursi goes to bring him inside, once we get to Jack's place, he's just gonna kind of pick him up and huck him over his shoulder.
Speaking of, we are at Jack's place. Jack got here first.
Jack, a question occurs to me. Considering how much we're closing in as a coterie now and becoming bosom buddies. If we ever had to crash here, would that be amenable to you? Is there areas we could
Yes,
use?
there's places you can crash, but
Were any of them used by the previous incumbent of your house? Maybe a torture
probably.
chamber.
Uh,
Would you be able to show those to me? Just, out of interest.
Wait, the torture chambers are just rooms he used in general.
The first one.
Ah.
Considering what an asshole he was, I'm assuming he had some kind of awful, terrible torture chamber.
I'm going to
we're
add
about
that
to take
news in the
our-
intervening weeks.
we're about to take our compadre and put him down in one of those chambers. So yeah, you're about to see it anyway. Try not to cream your pants.
Well, I will take that on board. But I would be delighted to be shown to that area if you wouldn't mind, Jack.
Out of character. I'm just going to interrupt briefly. If Artemis is ever shown to the master bedroom where Jack now sleeps, he is going to face plant that bed and roll around in it like a cat on catnip.
Yeah, very likely. Look, I'm just playing my character, okay?
I understand. And Jack's skin crawling and disgusted look is not dedicated to Roth. It's dedicated to the character.
Yeah, Ursi will follow whoever guides him to said chamber.
Oh no, Ursi ain't going to that chamber.
The torture chamber? I thought he has the body. Yeah, actually, no. We can roleplay this out.
Ursi, you cannot go to that chamber.
Why?
You know exactly why.
He'll have with the body over his shoulder. He kind of cocks his head a little bit. What?
Oh, Ursi, I believe what Jack may be referring to is the minor problem.
Oh, this is Malkov related, isn't it? Okay.
Well,
Oh,
this
yeah,
was
his mansion,
Malkov's
that's right.
house, and
Yep,
it is
yep.
his dungeon, so yeah.
Do you have a cell or something?
Yeah, I have a cell.
Is it also in that room?
Yep.
The secure ones are.
Let's just get this over with. I may have great distaste. No, I'll say it outright. I fucking hate that dude. As a more casual side of Ursi slips out because he is mentally tired from this dance all night.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty hateable son of a bitch. So,
Yeah. Just show me the way. I want to. Let's just get him in there. I'll be fine. I'm gonna be leaving once we have him secure, anyways. We'll meet up. We can meet up tomorrow night to do a proper investigation or proper interrogation.
okie dokie.
Don't have enough time to do a good one before I have to get out of here. I have other responsibilities that I need to take care of tonight.
So,
Speaking of,
I'm just gonna have a steak ready just in case.
right. Good call. Also, speaking of which, Artemis, you technically have a pseudo child with you tonight.
A pseudo child?
I mean, Maisie is
Wait.
temporarily your responsibility, like she was
Oh.
your child, but she's not really your child.
Sorry.
Pseudo
Child with an
child.
E. Child with an E.
I like that in the context, the La Sombra being called a pseudo child is truly funny. All
So
right.
he's already
Let's
asked
go.
Jack if there's available space to sleep tonight.
Mhm.
So he will once he's got a moment alone with Maisie, he will turn to her and say, Maisie, would you feel comfortable sleeping here this evening, today, while the sun rises above us?
Wow, that sounds absolutely amazing. I have someone waiting for me. And if I don't return things, he might not do so great. He has separation anxiety.
Reasonable. In which case, how can I help you get back to the city? I can call my driver and take you back if you want.
If possible, I don't want to make him drive out here at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Say no
Oh,
more.
he's the night driver. Yeah.
Give me a moment. Artemis will pull out his phone and speed dial. Stefan, I need you to
Oh,
drive out.
yes, Mr. Locke. Of course, Mr. Locke. Mr. Locke, it's like 4. Yeah, Mr. Locke. What can I do for you?
Stefan, it sounds like you were doing something energetic. I've told you to wait for my call and sit very still when you do so. What's going on?
Nothing, sir. Nothing. Ready and waiting, sir.
Good. Good. Stefan, I need you to come to this address and
No, I'm not going to tell him about the. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. What address, sir?
Stefan, I'm worried you're not paying attention to me, and I'm explicitly worried there's something untoward going on in the background there. You know what happens if I find out you've been unfaithful to me, Stefan?
Of course, sir. Right, sir.
Stefan, bring the car. I'm going to send you an address. Come and pick up my friend, Maisie. Take her where she needs to go. If you fail in this, you know exactly what's going to happen, Stefan.
Of course, sir. Don't worry about it. I'll be there soon, sir.
Good. Click. And Artemis closes the phone, turns to Maisie and smiles and says, My driver is on his way, my dear. He'll be here within the hour.
Maisie will smile and be like, well, thank you. I wish I had a driver. And then she'll just kind of like look around at the mansion.
The limo will eventually turn up in about 15 minutes.
Artemis, he takes on board Maisie's kind of scan of the area and says, You know, young lady, you could be in exactly the same position as I am very quickly. You have the skills and the supernatural abilities to have everything I have and more. Would you like that?
Maisie will kind of like think on it. I mean, yeah,
Are y'all coming or what?
if it'll help support my band. Damn it.
Artemis looks towards Jack's shout from within the house, turns back to Maisie. He presses a business card into her hand. It's his own business card. Give me a call. We'll talk through things when these others are not around. We'll discuss your options. You have so many options.
Can you two play hide the zucchini later, please?
There's a flicker of irritation that passes across Artemis's face. And then he looks straight into Maisie's eyes. I'm so sorry for his gauche reaction. Please, do not take him as an example of all of us.
Yeah, he reminds me of the college kids. It's fine. I've seen worse at those parties. And heard
Your reaction does you credit. Thank you. Ah, here's Stefan. Please, make use of him. Take him back to wherever you need to go and deal with whatever you need to deal with.
There's a rather shaky-looking guy currently holding open the passenger side door of a limo.
She'll start heading over. Thank you, Artemis. I'll be in touch.
Good. You take care now. Stefan, look after her as you wouldn't me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir.
Jack, I'm on my way.
And
As
Maisie.
Go on.
Maisie's gone.
I asked the question mark. And Maisie, question mark.
Maisie's heading home. It's just you and me. Let's
You
put our
couldn't wait
heads...
5 minutes to send her home? Jesus, Maria Joseph. Fine, we'll see if 2 of us can handle him if this goes tits up.
Ursi has just been like standing with the guy over his shoulder, like watching all of this happen. And they're like,
Before we continue with this, I would like a perception alertness roll from Maisie, difficulty 6.
He said perception, alertness,
Mhm.
difficulty 6. Turn that down. And roll.
There is some mix of oily and sticky over much of these leather seats.
Oh, well.
Yeah, she's just gonna kind of like, ugh, just get in the car anyway. Good thing these are washable.
As you recline your head, you notice, wait, that's a spot on the roof too.
Seems like someone's been having some fun in here, Stefan.
His only response is to turn up the music and raise the divider. Meanwhile,
I'm
back
back. Sorry about
inside,
that.
an awkward silence between a giant of a man holding a tarp and 2 regular-sized men.
All right, let's go to the cell. Jack will make the sign of the cross.
Well, as it turns out, there is a rather large cross down there. It just happens to have little things to hook up chains to.
You know, I don't use the word often, but gauche. Shit. This place is like comically evil. Like I hate
Yep.
him, and I hate that this is legitimately real. But I'm truly astonished at how comical it feels.
The
Not in a
room
like
is...
funny way. Just what?
Mhm.
I take on board what you're saying, but can you not appreciate exactly how dedicated he would have to have been to his level of evil to even live here
Artemis,
with...
stop talking. Stop. Every word out of your mouth makes me want to bash my head into a wall.
I fully
down the
understand.
watertight door into the basement level, and up against a wall that isn't actually a wall, but a secret door. Through that, you find the larger of the various chambers in which Malkov may have used to hold people. There's a number of cells, most of them with at least 2 bunks, and about half a dozen gynecologist chairs, some pillories, and a bunch of implements that, in another setting, might be BDSM gear. Here, not really. More old-fashioned dungeon. Or perhaps pens.
Ugh. All right. Which one are we sticking our fellow in? He's looking for the cell.
Artemis will run his hands across a couple of the I'm guessing kind of gynecological inspection chairs. I think maybe one of these would suffice.
Artemis,
To hold a
I
vampire?
appreciate
Probably
you.
not.
Artemis, I appreciate your input. You're sounding way too horny for the situation we're in.
But this one has stirrups.
Why do we need stirrups to interrogate this man?
We don't.
Why wouldn't we need stirrups to interrogate this man? The classics are the classics for a reason. You know, as I say this, I can kind of hear myself, so I'm gonna take a step back for a second.
Thank you.
Okay, this one has a pillory in it, and or we could chain him up to that cross over there.
Preferably a cell with bars, and then I say we can chain him in there as well.
All of them have bars. That's not very helpful.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm still trying to get like a mental map of the area. So all of those things were mentioned. I thought that was in like a larger area, and there were some cells. No, these are in individual cells.
Sounded like it, unless
Oh dear.
The chairs are largely outside the cells, but most of the other things are in one manner of restraint or another. Double-layered security.
Then, yeah, I think chaining him up to a wall in a cell should work. Because I mean, he's still going to be staked. He can't do anything.
I hesitate to ask this, but Kuheru, are you going to have Ursi roll a perception alertness check that we all want him to fail?
No, he
Oh.
sees what you don't want him to see, but there are no bones, there are no blood stains, there are no anything else. So
Oh, I
we're
do see
prompting
them.
another frenzy from him tonight.
Okay, but I do see them.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Then, why haven't you just gotten rid of those?
I've only been in this town for a couple of days, and most
Fair
of that
enough.
time I've spent with you all.
You only found this room the night before last. Goodness.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's get him in the. I will take down the body. Take it out of the tarp. Chain it up.
Artemis, you get a text.
Artemis absently pulls his phone from his pocket and reads the text. Oh. Artemis begins tapping a text into his phone as well. Absently puts his hand on one of the sets of chains attached to the wall. And
What a
seems to
lovely
go in-
prison
seems-
down here.
Seems to go into a trance for a moment.
Is if you touch a chain and it makes a little noise, it definitely sends a chill down Ursi's back. He's just like, oh god. He's like the most. I thought he was the most sane one, and he's. Oh god.
Yeah, as Artemis places his hand on one of the chains attached to the crucifix on the wall, he makes a little soft "oh" noise.
Oh god! No!
Oh no!
Oh, God.
Auspex
No.
3!
Oh god!
Were you trying to use Auspex 3 on the chain?
Accidentally, it's probably the first time Artemis has done this. He doesn't. He's never realized he had this ability before, so it's not a deliberate thing. It's more of a just resting on a part of the torture chamber, and then suddenly gets
Yes, you know what? We'll
overwhelmed.
roll with this. You get a
Oh shit! You
flash.
just scared Dean away.
Probably reasonably. You get a flash of something small, probably presumably male child, maybe with blonde hair, hanging there, and then it's gone a moment later.
Artemis is not a monster. The sensation he finds addictive, but the actual source of it he finds disgusting. So it's kind of a 50-50 thing. He's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely titillated by seeing this, but the actual thing itself makes him feel absolutely disgusted.
An odd state of being.
Mm. But then he starts to reach for other parts of the torture chamber and do the same thing.
Goodness.
Jesus. Upon hearing any amount
Well,
of that,
in an effort to not completely bog us down for another to be wrapping up, I will get back to you with that in your private thread later, Artemis.
oh god,
Don't hate me, guys, please.
Rob, you're a beautiful player. I do not hate Rob. Artemis is a freak, but I do not hate Rob.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Bro- yeah. Yeah. If we've changed him up, Ursi will kind of be like, "I'm gonna leave that. Wait, Artemis, do you need a ride, or am I good to go?
I think I'm going to stay here.
I'm going. Okay, you have a good one.
As you are prompting this, a little blonde head is peeking around the doorway. The open secret door that from the wall, that is to say.
And that is the way out, correct?
Yes, that is the only way out from here.
Okay. Ursi will freeze like a statue. He's like, uh,
Ultimately, there's another flash of the blonde hair and the pitter patter of feet running away. Or at least leaving quickly.
Jack, has she seen in here before?
I don't know. Communication is a bit difficult.
I think I think we need to make sure she's okay.
Rivyanook,
No,
I'm
you're
leaving.
not.
Ursi leaves. Ursi does not wait. Ursi goes from statue to in motion. Gets
Boom,
the
boom, boom! Thundering footsteps are running.
Yeah,
I was going to say a thing in
pretty much.
character quickly. I was going to say,
Go ahead.
Ursi, can you check on her?
I will check on the Rivyanook. Okay.
Oh, you're gonna have to find her. Good luck.
I guess Ursi will try to hear if she is close by, like because he heard her like running away.
You heard her initially, yes.
Yeah, as he's mostly yeah, no, I think he'll respond to Jack. I'll see if I find her. Fine. If not, I'm leaving. I have other stuff to do. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yep.
I'll be back tomorrow night, regardless.
Yep.
Okay. As he'll kind of be moving towards leaving the building, but he'll keep an ear and an eye out and basically go,
Because we're
Uh,
at time, I'm not going to make you roll, because currently, as you are, it is impossible. You do not find her.
all right, then I think before he fully leaves, he just goes, apologies if I scared you, Rebinok. Goodbye. And then he leaves.
I will search
Which
for
that's
her, and
just
I will
child in
tell.
Russian.
Yep. Well, he f's off. I'm going to tell Eve to take Artemis to a bedroom and probably pick one with with one of the more storied uses, and to bring a box of tissue papers.
Do I have to stay there with him after?
You don't have to, no,
Thank you,
but
Chris. No offense,
well,
Jack, but that one weirds me out.
none taken.
He looks over to where filling up a new jail bar and just kind of got that weird look on his face. All right, come along, you old man.
That jibe aside, once Artemis gets away from all the torture influence in the basement and touching them and feeling what they were, he will perk up
Goodness,
quite
man.
quickly.
Mhm.
He'll perk up quite quickly.
You are shown to one of the many, many guest rooms in the manor, leaving Jack to try and find Anastasia.
Artemis will search the room for pajamas.
God.
What the
God.
heck is wrong with you, man?
Artemis is so much worse than I thought. I knew it was bad. This is I knew it
I
was
want to
down
believe
bad,
that
but this
Artemis
is
is looking for
down
pajamas
bad.
for himself, but after everything that just happened, that's not where our minds go. Not where our-
Yeah.
It's really weird that Jack and Ursi are agreeing on.
Yeah, the weirdness of Artemis in that instance has done more for Ursi and Jack's relationship than everything else tonight.
Well, then maybe he's doing his job.
Yeah.
It's not as he
Doing his
intended.
job.
But Jack, you eventually find Anastasia, though not because of your efforts so much as suddenly that couch that you were looking at out of the corner of your eye suddenly has someone in it. Or rather, the after effects of obfuscate ending.
I know, big man was scary, but he's probably the nicest one of us.
She will eventually come out from where she's hiding behind the armrest. She moves to leave, but not before turning around and suddenly remembering she has something. And she'll pull out a piece of paper. No drawing on this one, for once.
I presume it's a list.
It is a list, yes.
I will take the list, pick her up, give her a hug, and take her to her room.
Indeed. And thus ends the night. One weirdly excited individual in a guest bedroom. Jack putting the kid away before going to his own room. And Maisie returning home. At least enough so she
I'm
doesn't get
giving
missed.
Artemis that list. After how weird he's been, he owes that to us.
Yeah, he is the one that's going to be footing the bill for that one. Indeed. You won't even notice it, but I mean, yes. In which case, I'd like to bring us to end of session time, which means things like experience. First and foremost, you get your basic, you get your role play, but learning. Maisie, what did Maisie learn tonight?
Maisie learned that if everyone is watching the same spot, shit might go down behind them, and we should always have a spotter.
Indeed. Jack, what did Jack learn tonight?
Artemis needs therapy. All of the therapy.
He might even need more therapy than Anastasia at this rate. I mean, not yet, but who knows what else he's got hidden. Sheesh. Very well. Artemis, what did Artemis learn tonight?
Artemis learned that if he's going to heal the rift between Ursi and Jack, they probably need a mutual thing to hate or worry about or fear.
Is that what it is, or is it really just an excuse so you can act without having to consider what you look like?
Oh no! So that later bit was utterly out of his control, but it was the earlier bit where something happened in the alleyway and Ursi went and dealt with it. But yeah, absolutely, Artemis is a freak.
Indeed. Hopefully, still the sort of freak your sire approves of. In any case, Ursi, what did Ursi learn tonight?
Oh.
It's okay, you can hate me.
No, I'll do. I'll. Uh, Ursi learned that. Yes, I'll do the obvious one. He learned that. Oh boy. Artemis is way more freaky about than he thought, and he is
This is
significantly
book
more
one. I don't have to
considering.
question you about way more obvious ones. Excellent.
Uh,
Which brings us to MVP. Who's Ursi's MVP?
I was gonna do Maisie. I think I'm gonna do Artemis because that took some dedication.
Very well. One for Artemis. Artemis, who's your MVP?
I think it's probably Ursi for just throwing himself off the fire escape and trusting to soak dice.
And trusting the superhero landing. Very well. One for Artemis, one for Ursi. Jack, who's your MVP?
Artemis.
Two for Artemis, one for Ursi. Maisie, who's your MVP?
Originally it was going to be Ursi, but yeah, I'm going to give it to Artemis for the level of extra.
Artemis wins by as unanimous a vote as can be happened. Congratulations, but remember you only got it because you're a freak.
Not 100% certain how to take that, but groovy. Extra XP, cool.
We all know how you take it doesn't matter. We're all absolutely bonkers for extra XP when we can get it. Let me update the experience counter. We have a session.
So that's 3 more XP.
Yep.
Nice.
XP for Jack, Maisie, and Ursi. And 4 XP for Artemis.
Cool, thank you.
Boop. Now let me actually update the totals.
Just been attacked by a cat again.
Totals updated. Boop, boop, boop. In that case, I hope everyone had fun.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I was kind of really hoping Ursi would frenzy on some degree, not just because, the chaos of alerting people at the rail yard, because it would have been really, really spiked the coterie drama llama.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because if he had frenzied there, it would not have been quiet, and it would not have been subtle.
No, you were going to leap over the edge with a giant roar. It would have been blatantly obvious.
Yeah.